field. Bottom of the first, Cotuit up 1-0 on Chatham. Kessler, the RBI sac fly in the top of one. Chatham comes to the plate to try and answer with a starting lineup that goes like this. Tyler Dones, the second baseman out of West Virginia, bats first. Spencer Torkelson, the two-time All-American from Arizona State, plays left field and bats second. Jamal O'Gwin, the second, is a designated hitter. He bats third. Brady Smith, the catcher, batting cleanup. Caden Polkovich, the center fielder, batting fifth. Paxton Wallace plays first base, and he bats sixth. Ben Ramirez, the shortstop, batting seventh. Jorge Arenas is the third baseman, batting eighth. And Cade Cabatis rounds out the order, playing right field and batting ninth. R.J. Davovich gave up a run in the first inning, Chatham's starter. And Cotuit starter Jackson Wolf, a lefty, 6'3", 205 from Gahanna, Ohio, a suburb of Columbus. He's got the ball for the second time this season, Arm. What do we look for out of the big southpaw?
Like we talked about in the pregame show a little bit, there's big right-handed bats in this lineup for Chatham. Got to induce soft contact because we know Jackson Wolf isn't a high strikeout guy. He's not going to blow it by you. Using that changeup, trying to get guys to be out front on that front foot.
Wolf, a Mountaineer, up against his own teammate, Tyler Dones, second baseman for Chatham, who has made a nice little living in the leadoff spot for the A's to start out the season. 6 for his last 17 with 6 runs scored. He bats from the right side. Kettleers up 1-0 in the bottom of the first, and Wolf gets a first pitch strike, fastball at 90 miles an hour. No balls and 1 strike. Casey Schmidt plays third base. Adam Oviedo, the shortstop. Nick Gonzalez, the second baseman. Mason Dodd plays at first. Chopper to short. Oviedo scoops it on a couple of bounces and makes a good throw for out number 1.
Great job by Wolf there to run that fastball in on the hands of Dones. Actually broke his bat there. You might have been able to pick up the sound with our incredible crowd mic. That's a big add to the broadcast by you, Sam. And you can hear it. Sometimes you just have that cracking sound when it runs in on the hands, and that's something Wolf can do. That 6'7" frame coming across his body, able to run it in on Dones there. Great job.
Wolf gets his teammate, 1 down, nobody aboard, and here's Spencer Torkelson. First pitch fastball, way high and outside, ball 1. Torkelson, as advertised, a 2-time All-American, 2-time member of the USA Collegiate National Team. He'll be leaving after tomorrow's matchup for Chatham against Orleans to represent the red, white, and blue on the summer circuit. He's even in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Played for Chatham last summer. Was tremendous in his limited time here at Vets Field. Already off to a good start in 2019. 4 for 10, 2 dingers, and 7 driven in. 1-1 breaking ball from Wolf. Gets the lower part of the zone. A called strike at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Torkelson hit 2 home runs yesterday. Both of his homers coming in the same day. Separate games against the Bourne Braves. Chatham split that result. 1-2. Fastball, tailed off, foul on the right side, out of play. It was interesting. Harvey Shapiro didn't really want to pitch to Torkelson, but yet he still burned him for a couple of bombs.
I don't think anyone wants to pitch to Spencer Torkelson, but at some point you have to, and he takes advantage of it 9 times out of 10.
Wolf working out of the windup. 1 out, nobody on. 1-2. Fastball that sails past Kessler to the backstop. 2-2. Torkelson coming off another really good season with Arizona State. .353 with 7 homers, or 23 homers rather, and 66 RBI. 2-2. Breaking pitch, runs outside, 3-2. His patience might be his most underrated trademark. A .446 OBP this past spring. He just knows how to work a good at-bat. Adjusts his batting gloves. Left foot out of the batter's box, grounds back on the back right foot, and now digs back in for a full count pitch. Wolf delivers, and it's fouled back again. A fastball, 3-2 still. Kettleers lead at 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. RBI sac fly by Colton Kessler. Nobody aboard, 1 out. Torkelson still battling, 3-2 from Wolf. Breaking pitch, hit hard up the box and into center field for a base hit. That is just good stuff right there. You really cannot pitch around that.
He's just a hitting machine, and it's a pleasure to be able to see him, like we said, between Nick Gonzalez and Spencer Torkelson. we could be seeing guys that will be playing baseball for a living for a long time.
Now here's a guy that's really burst onto the scene this summer, Jamal O'Gwyn II. 12 for his first 36. A grand slam yesterday against Bourne, one of his 2 home runs. And 10 ribbies for the big DH out of Southern Cal. 1 on with 1 out. 1-0 Kettleers. Wolf deals from the stretch. Good curveball in there for a called strike. 0-1 on O'Gwyn. He hit that grand slam in Game 1 against Bourne yesterday. And at bat after Spencer Torkelson was intentionally walked to load the bases. That powered an 8-2 Chatham victory over Bourne. Wolf stares down the runner at first, lifts his leg and zings it over there. Nothing doing. Torkelson ducks back in. 1-0 Cotuit in the bottom of the first inning. Torkelson on first, held on by Dodd. 0-1 home to O'Gwyn. Another breaking pitch in the dirt, knocked down by Kessler. Sun starting to set here on the lower Cape. A big bundle of trees beyond the left field fence and the scoreboard. Sun setting behind it. Big hill out in right field and center field. 1-1 fastball, brushed him back high and inside at 93. 2 balls and a strike to O'Gwyn. Blue low outfield fence with the red, white, and blue banners across. American flag flows in dead center field. Hitters Park here at Vets Field. 340 down the left field line, 314 down the right field line, and 385 straight away to center.
It's definitely a left-handed hitter's park. It's a small poke to right field. Straightaway left, jets out pretty far. It's crazy how that works with the dynamics, but I guess with the street and the firehouse over there, they were forced to bring right field in a little bit.
Yeah, the Chatham Firehouse, beyond the street, beyond the hill in right field. Rumor has it a couple of folks have hit it out there at some point throughout this ballpark's 97-year history. Torkelson on first, 1 out. 2-2 to O'Gwyn. Fastball hammered straight away center. Williams running back at the track, and he's able to high point it for out number 2. Good job by Dante Williams to flag that one down deep in center field. Torkelson retreats back to first base. 2 away here in the bottom of the first, and here comes Brady Smith. O'Gwyn with hard contact and a loud out. Good defense by Williams to keep that one in the yard.
Straight away over his head, did a good job of just turning around and putting his head down and running, then picking it back up in the air. It was a line drive shot off of O'Gwyn's bat. We know he can hit the ball pretty hard.
Brady Smith climbs in for the right side, catcher out of the University of Florida. Wolf picks back over to check on Torkelson. Smith, in his second summer on Cape Cod, played for the Kettleers last year. Came to Cotuit after a trip to Omaha with the Gators. Played in the back half of the season throughout the month of July. Was a utility man, caught, played first base, and DH'd. He looks at a fastball away, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 Cotuit. Bottom of 1, 2 outs, and Torkelson on first base. Smith 4 for his first 12 with 4 ribbies. He's off to a nice little 4-game hitting streak for Chatham. Wolf posts up the right leg, ready from the stretch. 1-0, breaking ball, tags the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike on Smith. Smith, a native of the Panhandle in your home state of Florida, from Niceville, Florida. Small little town where you're coming down the bridge on 331 to get to Destin. 1-0 Kettleers, bottom of 1. 2 outs and a runner on. 1-1, breaking ball. Got him fishing, fooled him badly. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
It's funny, I'm from Florida. I've never made it to the Panhandle, and you have.
Yeah, you're like all the way down there.
It's the equivalent of going from the Cape to North Carolina.
Yeah.
People don't realize how big Florida is.
It's
a hike.
Nice, though. The Emerald Coast, Panama City. A lot of good stuff going on in the Panhandle. Wolf throws over to check on Torkelson again.
Where Brady Smith plays, Gainesville, is not even halfway there to the Panhandle from where I am.
That's a good 4-hour stretch going east. And I did that drive once when I visited UF, and That's about the darkest stretch of road on I-10 if you go early in the morning. Nothing. 1-2. Breaking ball, check swing by Smith. Got him. Nice pitch by Jackson Wolf. A strikeout to cap off the bottom of the first, and the Kettleers maintain a 1-0 lead over Chatham. No runs on one hit, no errors, and a man left for Chatham. And we're out of the second. Cotuit 1 and Chatham 0 here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Along with us. Top of the second inning, the Kettleers lead the Chatham A's 1-0. 6, 7, and 8 due up in the Cotuit order. Chavers, Dodd, and then anew. Sam Neidermann, Aram Leighton. Hope you're doing well tonight. Beautiful night on the lower Cape. Sun setting down. Lights coming on here at Vets Field. And Parker Chavers stands in on the left side against R.J. Dabovich. Right-handed pitcher out of Arizona State gave up 1 run in the top of the first. Kettleers got 1 home on Cotuit Kettleers' sac fly to right field. Dabovich works out of the stretch. Arenas plays a little bit in at third base. And Chavers takes a breaking pitch downstairs, ball 1. Chavers off to a really nice start off the plate. Outfielder from Coastal Carolina. Slugging at .520, that's best on the team and 5th in the Cape. 1-0, lifted in the air, foul off the left side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dabovich gets back onto the rubber and looks into Brady Smith for the sign. He comes set at the belt with his tan mitt. Leg lift into 1-1. Fastball popped up, left field. Torkelson sprinting in, foul ground, and he eventually settles under it for out number 1.
The first baseman.
Dabovich gets Chavers to start things off at the top of the second. 1-0 ball game favoring Cotuit. 1 down, nobody aboard, and Mason Dodd at the plate, another left-handed bat. Looking to break a little bit of a slump. He's 0 for his last 13.
Like we mentioned earlier, facing a right-handed pitcher might be refreshing for Dodd, who's hitting .300 against right-handers. Could be a good spot for him.
Normal depth for the Chatham defense. Left side of the infield creeps in by a couple of steps. Dabovich gets a swing and a miss on a good changeup outside. Nothing in 1.
We've seen Dabovich go to that changeup with the left-handed hitting Chavers. He's going to it again with Dodd, working away, trying to get them out and reaching, which is what he did to Chavers. That's how he got the soft fly ball out to left field.
0-1 home. Off-speed pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dabovich, one of 3 scheduled pitchers to get onto the mound tonight for Tom Holliday. That's how Holliday has done it all season long for the first-place Anglers. Dabovich scheduled to go with the first 3 innings, then Parker Scott set for the middle 3. It would be his debut. Swing and a miss by Dodd, 1 and 2. And then Connor Fetterman to close things out on the back end of the bullpen for the last 3 innings. Base is empty with 1 out. Kettleers up 1-0. 1-2 to Dodd. High fastball. Davovich clocks it up at 93 miles an hour. Doesn't matter though. Nowhere close to the zone. Even count. 2-2. Birds flying around the lights here at Veterans Field. A gorgeous sunset. Even see a little bit of a rainbow out there in left center field.
I do see that. It's beautiful.
2-2. Wave and a miss by Dodd again. Good changeup by Davovich. 2 down here in the top of the second.
We use the word serene to describe Wool Park. I think Veterans Field has a little bit of that vibe too. Of course, with the rainbow out in the outfield and the sunset, they have a little bit of an advantage here, but Wool Park can be just about one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Veterans Field, one of the favorites around the Cape as well. If you ask who's got the best field, you usually get Cotuit and Chatham. Get some Orleans people in there, and we'll visit Eldridge Park later in the week on Friday. Here's Araj Anu. Switch hitting DH, who bats from the left side, takes strike 1, a fastball on the outside corner. Araj did not play yesterday in the doubleheader. JUCO transfer from Wallace Community College in Dothan, Alabama, set to go to Kentucky in the fall. 0-1, pulled over on the right side to second. Dones funnels it and makes a good throw on to first for out number 3. Kettleers retired in order in the visiting half of the second. Cotuit up 1-0 as we move on to the bottom of 2. Be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The Chatham A's. Cotuit leads 1-0. Bottom of the second inning. Jackson Wolf back on the mound. He's up against the middle of the Chatham order. 5, 6, and 7. Caden Polkovich, Paxton Wallace, and then Ben Ramirez. 1-0 Kettleers. Wolf fires in ball 1. A fastball low. 1-0 on Polkovich. Fellow Big 12 member at Oklahoma State. 5'10" junior representing Edmond, Oklahoma on the Cape. 1-0, launched in the air, left center field. Polkovich takes it for a ride, over the fence and gone. Caden Polkovich with his first home run of the summer for Chatham. And he knocks this thing up at 1 apiece in the bottom of the second. Well, Polkovich has been an impact player all year long. 9 for 33 before that at bat. Only took a couple of pitches, and he gets the Jackson Wolf into the left center alley.
Looked like that pitch came back over the plate a little bit too much. And we talk about Wolf's pretty crafty, but he's not going to blow it by you. And he turned on that one and blasted it out to left center.
Paxton Wallace, first pitch swinging a zipper on the ground to Mason Dodd. He blocked it on one hop and took it to first himself. One away in the bottom of 2.
Great job by Dodd there to stay down on the rocket right at him. Short hop. Sometimes it's easy to come off of it a little bit, but he kept it, chested it up like a catcher, like Colton Kessler does behind the plate, and was able to take it on to first and get the out.
Good recovery by Wolf to get back into the swing of things. One down, bases empty. 1-1 game, bottom two. Here's Ben Ramirez, left-handed batting shortstop from the University of Southern Cal. 1 ball and no strikes to Ramirez. Breaking pitch from Wolf. Knocks the outside corner, called for a strike, 1-1. Kettleers opened up the scoring with a sac fly from Colton Kessler in the first. Chatham answers here in the bottom of the second. Solo home run by Caden Polkovich. Ramirez slashes it foul. Out of play on the left side, 1-2. Interesting, just noticing on the left field scoreboard, they got the pitch counts for both teams. It's pretty good. 27th pitch of the night for Jackson Wolf. Breaking pitch in the dirt, check swing. Ramirez held up, according to Mike Rabideau, the third base umpire. That keeps him alive with a 2-2 count. Like that pitch count thing, though. That's good.
It's cool. It's very easy, and it's helpful to all the fans, and especially us, because it's hard to tally all the pitches. And so far, it tells us that both pitchers have been throwing a little bit too many pitches so far.
2-2. Fastball that runs inside. Did it hit Ramirez?
It was like a foul ball.
Did not. Home plate umpire Sam Finn says that it hit the knob of his bat for a foul.
The rule of thumb usually is if it hits you in the hand, it hurts pretty bad, they'll drop the bat instantly and react. There was no reaction there from Ramirez.
2-2 popped up. Left field, Chavers, maybe Schmidt at third. Chavers makes the call at the last second and comes in to grab it for out number 2.
The third baseman from Stetson, number 3, Jorge Arenas.
Always got to make sure that you call it. That's one area where the Kettleers have not excelled at to open up this season. Defensive fielding percentage that ranks 7th in the league. But no errors yesterday in the doubleheader win, and Mike Roberts was really happy with that.
No errors, and they cut down on the strikeouts. Two things that Coach Roberts really does harp on.
1-1 ball game, bottom of the second. Jorge Arenas looks at ball one low. 2 outs, bases empty. Cotuit plays the defense at normal depth on the infield, straight up as well. Dante Williams, maybe a touch to left center. 1-0. Fastball slung in high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. These two clubs have already met once this season. Cotuit dropped a 7-6 defeat in 8 innings at home against Chatham. That was the second game of the year. Fastball in there for a called strike at the knees, 2-1. Cotuit raced down to a 4-0 advantage in that game. And Chatham scored 6 unanswered. The Kettleers tied it, but then Chatham got a run on a wild pitch to win it. 3 balls and a strike on Arenas.
With all the rainouts we've had, that game feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah. Here we are, June the 24th. I was back on June the 11th. Chatham had 3 games affected to weather last week. Kettleers had 3 as well. 2 outs, bases clear. Wolf steps off the rubber and decides to take a little walk with himself behind the mound. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the second. 3-1. Fastball on the outside corner, called for a strike. That loads up the count on Arenas. Polkovich with a drive to left center field. His first home run of the season. That's the thing that's tied it up here in the bottom of 2. Wolf has retired 2 in a row since. Trying to cap it off with 2 outs and nobody on. 3-2. Breaking pitch runs outside, ball 4. Arenas works a 2-out walk.
The right fielder from Oklahoma State, number 9, Cade Cavanis.
Kettleers and Chatham tied at 1-1. Bottom 2. Arenas extends the inning at first base with a 2-out walk. Cade Cavanis, the number 9 batter, comes back to the plate. He stands in from the left side. Wolf out of the stretch and a throw over to first. Another Oklahoma State outfielder in Chatham's lineup. Middle infield pinches in a little bit. Schmidt plays a touch in at third. First pitch from Wolf, tailed in the air to left field. Shavers rounds it in foul ground and spears it out of the air for out number 3. Good job by Jackson Wolf to recover, but Chatham ties up the ball game. Caden Polkovich with a solo home run to left center field, and we are knotted up. 1 apiece heading into the third. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors and 1 man left, and the Kettleers come back to the plate when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
With the order, Christian Robinson and Nick Gonzalez. Williams, the speedster, an Arizona Wildcat, hits from the left side. Takes a first pitch fastball high, ball 1. Dabovich about to throw his 30th pitch of the game so far. Both pitchers, Wolf and Dabovich, have been equally taxed. As Dante Williams tries to lay down a bunt, it goes foul. 36 pitches so far for Jackson Wolf, too. Dabovich comes set, kicks and deals to Dante Williams, who swings through a changeup. Dabovich has been going to the changeup frequently against the left-handed hitters. We've seen him induce some weak contact from Parker Shavers, got Dodd striking out on the changeup, and then broke a Raja News bat on the changeup as well.
Williams, a number 9 batter. Hopefully the rest of the lineup second time through adjusts and sits back on it a little more.
And he gets Dante Williams reaching on another changeup. It'll be in play. It's caught by the catcher Smith for the first out of the inning. So as you said, Sam, they've all seen it now. We'll see how they adjust to it now with the second time through the order. Christian Robinson, the only left-handed hitter to get to Dabovich for a hit so far.
Yeah, he had that sharp hit into left field to start off the ball game. Scored on Kessler's sac fly. Like the idea of Robinson in the leadoff spot. We looked at his numbers heading into the summer and thought, all right, this is a well-built guy, but he didn't hit any home runs at Stanford. He had 15 doubles, but this is a guy that's going to make contact first and foremost, and that's his job.
He's not a burner by any means, but the ultimate job for a leadoff hitter is to get on base. And so far from what we've seen from Robinson, he's put together some really good at-bats. He's seen a lot of pitches, and he's been able to work some good counts. He's behind 0-1 to Dabovich. And he pops another one up towards us in the booth. It'll go behind us, and obviously out of play. So Robinson behind 0-2. We'll see if he can battle back here.
I thought that was coming our way.
I thought we might have a chance at that one. We're a little further back set here at Veterans Field. A lot of the times on the road we'll be right against the wall. We're at the end of the grandstand here as he gets Robinson on a changeup, but it gets away from the catcher Smith, and he'll get to first base. So Dabovich was able to get Robinson to chase on another changeup, but Smith couldn't keep it in front, nicked off his shin guard, and rolled towards the third base dugout. Robinson was able to get to first base easily.
Good hustle and awareness by Robinson. Never give up on that. Take your base. Kettleers will take it to get the leadoff man on, or a one-out base runner.
Any way you can as the leadoff hitter. So Robinson on first. Nick Gonzalez awaits the first pitch. He pops one up. We'll see if it's in play. Smith has another chance at this one. He drops the mask and makes the grab. So 2 foul ball outs for the Kettleers and a strikeout. Fortunately, only 2 of them resulted in outs.
Third baseman, number 8,
And we'll bring up Casey Schmidt with 2 outs. Robinson on first base.
2 good plays in this frame by Brady Smith to shed his mask and make a couple of tougher catches. Little bit of a win tonight, not too impactful, but you could see that ball really curving overhead.
Casey Schmidt, who homered in the doubleheader yesterday, was able to jump all over a hanging curveball as he swings right past a fastball, fouls it straight back. Back to the broadcast setup. So the new booth is right, or the new lower bowl, as you mentioned earlier, right in front of us. We're right on the back of that. It's a pretty cool vantage point because we're typically right adjacent to the wall. You get a little bit of a better angle to see everything and a full view of the field.
It's about the perfect level for some good depth perception, too.
Robinson on the move. It's a hit and run. Schmidt fouls it back. Looked like Robinson had a good jump there. Might have had second base stolen. But with Schmidt behind 0-1, he wanted to take a chance at that pitch. Just got a piece of it, and he's behind 0-2.
Robinson's an athlete. Outside of baseball, he lists his other interests as auto repair and taekwondo. So I wouldn't want to mess with that guy. Moved like a ninja on the base pass on that last play.
Baseball, auto repair, and taekwondo. A well-rounded dude. So he stands on first as they pick off over to him, but he gets back easily. Got that jersey nice and dirty, all for nothing with the ball fouled away. He was stealing all the way, didn't really look, of course. You got your head down and you're running. He dove into second to find out he had to go back to first base. So it's 0-2 to Casey Schmidt, and he's on the move again. But once again, he'll dive head first for no avail because Casey Schmidt strikes out looking on a curveball. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Dabovich. 1 runner reaches on the strikeout. 1 left on, no hits, no errors. We'll go into the bottom of the third. Still knotted up 1-1 here at Veterans Field. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball. Second time around here for Chatham. They'll get another look at Jackson Wolf. So Tyler Dones will be the first batter, Spencer Torkelson, then Jamal O'Gwyn. Dones grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Of course, Jackson Wolf, a teammate of Dones in a battle of the Mountaineers here.
What a season it was for West Virginia baseball, hosting their first regional in Morgantown since 1955. Dones and Wolf, both two key pieces in that.
First pitch fastball gets the outside corner for a strike. Yeah, they were just one game away. Duke, Joey Loperfido, and Matt Mervis were able to beat Alec Manoa, one of the best pitchers in the country. A guy that was ahead of Jackson Wolf in the rotation is part of a very solid rotation as Wolf misses away 1-1. Dones can run 20 stolen bases this past season. He hit .316, led the team with 21 doubles. It's the fourth most in the Big 12 as well. So Dones is ahead 2-1 against his teammate Jackson Wolf. Wolf out of the windup, takes a long look, kicks and deals. Curveball misses down and away, didn't quite come back to the strike zone, so it's 3-1. Dones hitting .571 in his last 5 ball games as he swings through a fastball. It'll make it full.
Tom Holliday really likes the work he's produced at the leadoff spot. He might be their leadoff man for the rest of the summer.
He looks the part. He can run. Puts the ball in play. 3-2. He fouls it off his foot. And we'll do 3-2 again.
Sam Finn, home plate umpire, signaled foul ball, put his arms up as he was signaling touchdown or something. He almost elbowed
He almost got
Dones.
Dones.
Yeah.
Dones just able to duck out of the way of Finn's arm. Finn, one of the younger umpires in this league. His father, of course, is an umpire in the Cape Cod League as well. We're waiting until we'll get a game where both of them are on the field at the same time. I don't know if Cape Cod does that often. You were here last year. Did that ever happen with the Finns?
It actually did happen. The Finns did have a game here at Vets Field. It was the game in which Cotuit hung up 15 runs on the A's.
Wolf wins this battle again against Dones as he gets him swinging on a fastball.
Good job by Jackson Wolf to get the leadoff batter. Wasn't the same story in the second when he gave up the tying home run to Caden Polkovich, but he's able to get his teammate Dones for the second time tonight, this time on strikes.
Just that one pitch has really been the only mistake so far for Wolf. But he's going to have a tough out here with Spencer Torkelson, who singled in his first at-bat. First pitch swing, and he fouls it out of play towards the grandstand behind home plate. Just misses a couple kids. Thank goodness they're able to get out of the way there.
Thank goodness indeed. There was sort of an oasis of empty bleachers. The big crowd on the lower bowl, almost all filled up, but that little particular patch vacant, except for those two little girls that saw that foul ball just slam right down in between them.
I don't know if they realize how close that was, but they got a souvenir now. And Wolf is ahead 0-1 to Torkelson. As you mentioned earlier, Sam, one of the last games for Torkelson before he goes to Raleigh, North Carolina. Gets ready to travel with Team USA as he lifts one out to right center. Back is Robinson. He'll call for it and make the grab right at the warning track. So Wolf survives the second at-bat against Torkelson. He drove it about 365 feet to right center, but that'll be the second out of the inning.
Just a little more that would have gotten onto the hill, but Vets Field just large enough to keep that one in the park. Jackson Wolf dodges a bullet.
Brings up Jamal O'Gwyn, who also had a loud out to center field in his first at-bat. He takes a first pitch fastball at the shins. He lined one straight over the head of Dante Williams. Williams had a great jump on it, was able to range straight back and make the grab. 1-0 curveball bends over the plate, 1-1.
Nicely done. Great breaking action from Wolf. He's got good action on his off-speed stuff tonight.
His off-speed stuff has looked much sharper than he did in his first outing. So he bends another curveball, able to get him to foul it off. Ahead 1-2. He's been mixing up those three pitches, the fastball with the changeup and curveball. He's kept Chatham hitters off balance for the most part, besides the one pitch to Caden Polkovich. The 1-2 pitch to O'Gwyn. Fastball gets the corner, strike three, got him looking. So Wolf gets out with a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go into the top of the fourth. Still knotted up at 1-1 here at Veterans Field. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. 3-1 this past spring, a 2.18 ERA, struck out 51 in 41 innings, a very strong year over at Oklahoma State. Only walked 14 in his 45 innings of work.
That'll be Sunday, July 21st, game time.
We'll get Colton Kessler, Adam Oviedo, and Parker Shavers, the middle of this Kettleers order. So that'll close the book for R.J. Dabovich. He goes 3 innings, only gives up 1 run on 1 hit.
Yeah, Dabovich was pretty good. The Kettleers were kept off balance with his changeup. But the good news for Cotuit is that he's out of the game. Bad news is they're up against a tough left-hander in Scott. No scouting report numbers on him because this is his debut, but a really good spring with the Pokes down in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
First pitch to Kessler is a fastball right down the middle, strike 1, and we talked about it earlier. We've harped on it a lot in this broadcast, is the struggles against southpaws for the Kettleers. Of course, just hitting barely over 170 coming into today against lefties. Only scoring 10 of their 50 runs on the season against southpaws with a pretty equal sample size. Curveball just bites low, so it's 1-1. That's something the Kettleers are going to have to rectify if they want to win in this league. Of course, there's a lot of southpaws with college prospects from pro prospects pitching in this league. 1-1 fastball. Kessler's able to lay off it. 2-1.
Yeah, the lefty-lefty matchup has been a struggle for the Cotuit order, but one guy that could spark a reverse of that trend is Kessler at the plate. Came up with the RBI sac fly in the first and displayed some good pull power to that short right field here at Vets Field.
The 2-1. Fastball, 2-2. Got the outside corner. We saw Coach Roberts working with Kessler earlier in the game, or before the game, on shortening that swing, shortening the stride, making things a little bit quicker, and he was able to rope one to right field, and it looked like a very short, compact swing. So he waits the 2-2. He's able to check his swing. He did not go, says the home plate umpire, Sam Finn, so it'll make it full. So another good at-bat from Colton Kessler, who seems like he's settling in a little bit now. On deck is Adam Oviedo, one of the hotter hitters on this Kettleer team. The payoff pitch to Kessler. Fastball lifted up in the air. Shortstop Ramirez ranges over, camps under it, and makes the grab.
The shortstop, number 6, Adam Oviedo.
So Parker Scott's able to retire his first batter of the game, and he'll get Adam Oviedo, the right-handed hitting shortstop. Oviedo struck out swinging his first at-bat against Dabovich. He's reached in all 8 contests he's participated in so far this summer. The first pitch to Oviedo. Check swing. Yes, he did, says Tom Carey, the first base umpire. Oviedo tied for the lead in the Cape Cod League coming into today with 3 home runs. 2 of those came at YD, and one of them in the doubleheader yesterday against Brewster. The 0-1 pitch, changeup, bounces in front of home plate, 1-1. So this is Parker Scott's Cape Cod debut for the Chatham Anglers. Expected to go a couple innings in the middle before he'll hand it over to Daniel Fetterman.
Yeah, Scott's had a long road. Finally got to pitch for Oklahoma State as a junior. Was injured his freshman season, redshirt in 2018. This was his first year of action, and it was super sharp.
Ahead 1-2 to Oviedo. He goes to the changeup again and bounces it 2-2.
45 1/3 innings pitched. Struck out 51 batters in that span, only walked 14.
The control is very impressive with only 14 walks, as you mentioned, in 45-plus innings. So Oviedo has an even count at 2-2 and breaks his bat on a ground ball over to second base. Dones fields it, throws it over to first for the second out of the inning. We've seen a lot of broken lumber today, going through a lot of bats on both sides.
Yeah, Ovi just got jammed a little bit. Good hard pitch by Scott. He wasn't able to turn that one full around. That's why I went to second, and good hard contact on the pitch there to break the bat, and Kettleers with nothing to start this inning.
Brings up Parker Shavers, left-handed hitter. He popped out to shallow left field in his first at-bat. The 1-0 pitch. Grounded out to Dones again. He'll round it pick it up and throw it over to first. So a 1-2-3 inning in Parker Scott's Cape Cod debut. We'll go into the bottom of the fourth as the Kettleers try and hold this game at 1-1. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Brady Smith, then Caden Polkovich and Paxton Wallace. Brady Smith, the cleanup hitter, struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Out of the windup, the first pitch to Smith. Lifted straight out to right field. Back is Robinson. He camps under it and makes the grab about 20 feet from the wall. So one pitch, one out for Wolf.
Oklahoma State, number 40, Caden.
Wolf has had a really nice night, aside from giving up the home run to Polkovich that tied the game in the bottom of the second. Other than that, he scattered a hit by Spencer Torkelson in the first, walked a man with 2 outs in the second. He's retired 5 in a row.
And here comes Polkovich, the only guy to be able to reach Wolf today. Crushed the home run to left center. The first pitch to Polkovich, fastball in the outer half, strike one. Just 3 combined hits so far in this ball game as we're about halfway through. 1-0 curveball gets away from Wolf. So he wipes his hand off on his pants. Tries to get a better grip on the new ball.
Mike Roberts out of the dugout pointing to right field, telling Christian Robinson to get over into the right center gap. A lot of room down the line and right.
Dante Williams shifts over towards left center where the home run was hit, playing him a little bit to the pole. The 1-1 pitch, curveball, just bites low, 2-1. Bunch of fans scattered out on the hill in right field. It starts from about the right field foul pole all the way to center field as a 2-1 gets the outside corner, this time 2-2. There's fans beyond the foul pole and straightaway center. Pretty much you can see them covering the grass all the way to the right field foul pole right down the line. It's a really cool spot to watch a ball game. And got him looking on a 2-2 fastball for the second out of the inning. So Wolf able to get Polkovich on this round. It's 2 away, and Paxton Wallace will stride to the plate.
Jackson Wolf has done a great job setting up hitters with off speed. A couple of curveballs to tempt Polkovich, and then he finished it with a fastball. When he gets ahead with his breaking stuff, he can become a really dangerous arm from the left side.
Wolf takes a long look at the hitter Wallace. He waits for the fire trucks just in right field to get out of the eye's view. Obviously, that'd be pretty hard to hit with the flashing lights of the fire trucks. He strides into the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball, just misses away, ball 1. The firehouse is just beyond the hill we were just talking about in right field. Talked about some urban legends, or maybe it's true, of some players in the past that have hit that firehouse. It has to be about a 500-foot poke as the 1-0 is fouled straight back towards the parking lot, 1-1.
Well, one of the other urban legends as far as long-distance home runs of the Cape League is the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, former Orleans Firebird. When you go to Orleans, and we'll be there on Friday, dead center is 434 feet. It's like a diamond. It converges at a 90-degree angle.
1-1. Yes, he did. Couldn't hold his swing up. Paxton Wallace goes around, says Sam Finn, the home plate umpire.
And the legend has it that Thomas is the only Firebird to hit it beyond the 434 dead center sign at Eldridge Park. Maybe he's the one that's hit it to the firehouse here at Veterans Field, too.
If there's one guy that can do it, it's definitely Frank Thomas. Another ball spoiled away. We'll do 1-2 again. One of the most athletic, big-built hitters in MLB history. Of course, he played football at Auburn as well. Probably could have been a pretty successful football player. So the 1-2 to Wallace. Fastball just misses high. We'll even things up at 2-2.
Not the only two-way baseball, football star to come out of Auburn. Bo Jackson.
Of course. The 2-2. Curveball bounces in front of home plate. I was freezing there. I was like, please say it. Please don't make me say it. I don't know who it is. You bailed me out. I was drawing a blank.
Have you ever seen that 30 for 30?
Oh, amazing 30 for 30.
Oh, really good. I forget if it's in that one or the Roll Tide War Eagle 30 for 30, but Bo Jackson comes on for an interview spot and he says, best athlete to ever come out of Auburn, it's Charles Barkley. It was really funny.
And he rings him up on a borderline fastball. Wallace actually already threw his bat towards his dugout. But that's a third out of the inning. Wolf able to work 4 innings of one-run baseball. We'll go into the top of the 5th, still knotted up at 1 at Veterans Field. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball.
Provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Welcome back to Veterans Field. Top of the 5th inning, tie ball game between Cotuit and Chatham, 1 apiece. Parker Scott, the lefty out of Oklahoma State, still on the hill. It's his 2nd inning of work. Went 1-2-3 back in the 4th. Up against the middle of the order, or bottom of the order, rather. In this inning against Cotuit, Mason Dodd, Arajanu, and then Dante Williams. 7, 8, and 9. Dodd starts things off with a roller up the middle and into center field for a base hit on the first pitch he sees.
That's just his 2nd base hit against the Southpaw this year, so that's got to be a big confidence booster for Mason Dodd.
And it gets him out of the slump. He was 0 for 14 coming into that at-bat, struck out in his first at-bat. But he's able to get aboard to start things off in the visiting half of the 5th. Dodd 1 for 2. He's on first, held on by Wallace. Scott, the lefty, out of the stretch for the first time, up against Arajanu. Switch hitter bats from the right side this time, and he takes a curveball low for strike 1. Middle infield at double play depth for Chatham. Dones at second, Ramirez at short. Fastball just off the plate, 1-1 to Anu. 0 for 1 with a ground out to second today. Cotuit opened up the scoring in the top of the first. RBI sac fly by Kessler. Chatham answered in the bottom of the second. Solo home run by Polkovich. 1-1. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Dug out by Smith behind home plate. 2 balls and a strike. Anu had the day off yesterday against Brewster. Back in the lineup for Mike Roberts. 2 dingers and 7 driven in. Most RBI on the club so far. 2-1, launched, deep left field. Get on your horse, Polkovich. He's on the wall, he's at the track, and he leaps up and snags it. What a play by Caden Polkovich, robbing Anu of a home run. And that's the first out here in the top of the 5th.
Great job by Polkovich there, ranging back, able to feel for the wall with his right arm, which is what you teach all your outfielders. Knew where he was, jumped up and made the grab. Unbelievable to rob Anu, who's been struggling. Could have used that hit there, but he got good contact. That's got to be something you build on if you're Raj Anu.
Polkovich has a home run at the plate. He just robbed one in center field for Chatham. Anu retired, just an F8, 1 down. Runner on first still in Dodd. Scott still out of the stretch. Here's Dante Williams. Swinging a foul right back into the lining behind home plate. 0-1. Williams 0 for 1. Popped out to the catcher his first time up in the 3rd inning of play. 1 run on 2 hits for both sides. Top of the 5th. Dodd a short lead at first. 1 out and the 0-1 to Williams. Breaking pitch, skips off the heel of Smith's glove behind home plate, back onto the 3rd base side of the backstop. And it's easy pickings for Dodd to get up to 2nd base. Another one that gets behind Smith. Runner in scoring position for Cotuit.
I was about to say that a few balls we've seen him get away from Smith. It seems like he's not quite smothering it like Kessler does, and it's hitting that left shin guard, and it gets away. You need to get it off the chest. It has a little bit more give instead of those hard plastic shin guards. It'll bounce pretty far off of those.
Opportunity for the Kettleers in the top of the 5th. Runner on 2nd base with only 1 away. Williams, a left-handed bat, twirling it behind his back left ear. 1-1 pitch. Fastball right down the pipe. Called for a strike, 1-2. Scott, the lefty on the hill, just 6'1", 175 pounds. From the northern suburbs of the DFW area in Texas. Went up the road to Stillwater to play at Oklahoma State. Blue stirrups, he pulls his pinstripe pants up about halfway. Curveball on the 1-2, check swing by Williams. Appeal to 3rd, did not go around, 2-2. It was close.
As close as it gets. It looked like Mike Rabideau flinched a couple times, kept walking in. Almost looked like he was going to ring him up and then gave the safe call. So Dante Williams stays alive, hanging on by a thread.
Indeed. Dodd still on 2nd. Ramirez behind him to shade. Short lead, 1 out, 2-2. Fastball zipped in the air to left. Torkelson a couple steps back. He's got it, 2 down. Ball never lies. Williams retired. 2 outs in the top of 5. Still tied up 1-1. Back to the top of the Kettleer lineup. Christian Robinson climbs back in. He's reached twice. Got on with a drop 3rd strike his last time up in the 3rd. Was stranded at first. 1 for 2 with a single back in the 1st and a run scored. Right fielder from Stanford takes a look at his Blackwood bat. Stands in from the left side. First pitch from Scott. Breaking pitch, dives on the outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Just a perfect night here in Chatham. A slight breeze, dipping down into the 60s. Sun going down. Patches of blue sky and dark purples, brushstroke clouds that roll behind the trees and left. Fastball low and in, 2-0 on Robinson. Dodd began the inning with a single on the first pitch into center field. Advanced to 2nd on a wild pitch. Anu robbed of a home run in deep left center by Polkovich. Williams popped out to left. 1-1, top of 5, and the 2-0. Breaking pitch, Robinson turned the hands. Check swing appeal. Mike Rabideau, the 3rd base umpire who's behind the mound for that call, says he did not go. It's 3 balls and no strikes.
It's funny to go to Rabideau behind the mound to make that call. It's pretty hard to make a check swing call when you're directly in front of the hitter.
3-0 pitch. Scott tags a fastball on the inside corner. 3 balls and a strike. Cotuit in the maroon road tops. White pinstripe pants. Chatham in the blue home tops. White-blue pinstripe pants. 3-1. Fastball called for a strike, low on the outside corner. Robinson thought he had ball 4. He was about to shed the bat and walk up to first base, but instead he's got to get back in. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And first base is open, but this is the guy that Parker Scott wants to left-handed hitting Robinson with Nick Gonzalez looming on deck.
Runner on second with 2 outs. 3-2. Breaking ball, lunging, swing and a miss by Robinson. And Scott gets a strikeout to cap off the inning. His first of his outing. And he works around a leadoff base hit by Mason Dodd. Arajanu robbed of a home run in left center field. Kettleers no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left in scoring position. We have played 4.5. Cotuit 1 and Chatham 1. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Long for the ride. Bottom of the 5th here in Chatham. 1-1 ball game between Cotuit and Chatham. Kettleers back in the field. Chatham at the plate. Ben Ramirez leads things off. 7, 8, and 9. Jorge Arenas and then Cade Cabanes to follow. Jackson Wolf still on the hill. The lefty deals in a fastball low and away. Ball 1. Aram, he has been really good tonight. Just the 1 mistake to allow the solo home run to Polkovich, but thus far 4 innings of 1 run, 1 hit ball.
Originally slated for 4, I think just he's been so effective and able to keep the pitch count low. That was just his 64th pitch there. So coach is able to maybe squeeze 1 more out of him. We'll see as Coach Roberts likes to go to the bullpen in the middle of innings a lot. We'll see if Wolf can finish off this 5th inning.
Ramirez 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. 1-1. Good curveball. Good frame by Kessler on the bottom part of the zone. Call it for a strike, 1-2. Wolf with 5 strikeouts in this ball game. He has struck out 4 of the last 6 batters he's retired. 1-2. Curveball knocked down by Kessler. Ramirez stayed back. 2-2.
And Wolf really has gotten better as this game's gone on, as you mentioned, striking out 4 of the last 6. He had just the 1 mistake to Polkovich. You give up a single to Spencer Torkelson, it's not the end of the world. Might be a victory for some pitchers, to be honest. But he's able to get him in the second at bat anyway. So really just the 1 bad pitch by Wolf today. Otherwise, he's been spectacular.
Foul ball, bounced behind home plate. Ramirez stays alive with a 2-2 count. Kettleers got on the board first. A sac fly by Kessler to make it 1-0 in the first. Polkovich with a deep drive to left center field to tie it at the second. No scoring since then. Breaking ball, 2-2 pitch, got him again. Jackson Wolf make it 6 strikeouts on the night and his 5th on the last 7 outs.
He's been using that curveball really effectively against left-handed hitters. He's had everyone off balance all game long. Great job mixing it up by Jackson Wolf.
Leadoff man retired, 1 down, nobody aboard. 1-1 on the scoreboard, bottom of the 5th. Here's Jorge Arenas, 0 for 0 with a walk. He slashes off the first pitch foul out of play. Normal depth and alignment for the Cotuit defense. Arenas representing Stetson University. 6 foot, 200 pounds, a junior from Miami. 0-1. Bounced right behind the mound. Gonzalez funnels it at second. Quick throw to first, and he gets Arenas by a step for out number 2.
And how about that? Sounds like another broken bat. That's got to be what, the 4th at least in this ball game.
Did sound pretty funky.
Shredding through lumber. Gonna have a lot of firewood tonight.
Yeah.
For the Chatham Anglers.
2 down, base is still empty. Here's a number 9 batter, Cade Cabanis, right fielder from Oklahoma State. 0 for 1 with a fly ball to left field. Level game, 1 run apiece. And 1 strike now on Cabanis. Good breaking pitch on the outside corner from Wolf. Nothing in 1.
Big part of Wolf's success is he's been able to pitch guys backwards, starting the at-bat off with a curveball there. He goes with a fastball on the second pitch. It really confuses hitters. You don't know what's coming and what count if he's comfortable throwing just about any pitch in every count.
Even count on Cabanis, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 on the scoreboard. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th with nobody aboard. Fastball, wave and a miss. Cabanis way behind it, 90 miles an hour at the knees. Wolf gets ahead, 1-2. One in the home half of the 5th. Bases clear, 2 outs. Wolf the windup in the 1-2. Fastball called for a 3rd strike on the outside corner. Good frame by Kessler, and Wolf racks up his 7th strikeout of the night. What a performance for the big lefty out of West Virginia. He's worked 5 innings of 1-run ball, and he keeps this game tied through 5. 1-1 on the board, and we're on to the top of the 6th. Kettleers come to the plate when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball.
Curry College offers 14 Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of Curry College and their championship teams. It's online at www.curry.edu. That's www.curry.edu. So 3rd inning of work for Parker Scott. He gets the middle of this Kettleers order with Nick Gonzalez, Casey Schmidt, and Colton Kessler. The first pitch to Nick Gonzalez is a fastball right by him for strike 1.
Nick Gonzalez has looked a little off his game tonight, 0 for 2 with a couple of pop outs, 1 to right and 1 to the catcher. Hopefully he can lock in and keep his 11-game on-base streak going and the leadoff man on board for the Kettleers here.
Ground ball over to the shortstop Ramirez. He picks it on a hop, throws it on the run, and just gets the hustling Nick Gonzalez by about a step. So a quick out here for Scott in the top of the 6th inning. And that'll bring up Casey Schmidt, the 3rd baseman, who bats 3rd today.
Gonzalez's most underrated quality might be his speed. He really shimmies up that line. Good hustle and a good play by Ramirez at the other end to get him by a step.
Gonzalez really modifies the term 5-tool player. He really does it all. He could be a 6-tool player. That 6th tool being his base running smarts. He just always seems like he knows what he's doing. As Casey Schmidt Grounds one over to third base. A great backhand by Arenas and a strong throw to get him. We've seen Gonzalez just pouncing on pass balls in the dirt, jumping on it, advancing, taking extra bases. He just does all the little things so well. So Colton Kessler strides to the plate. He's responsible for the only run of the ball game for the Kettleers on a sac fly. He lined straight out to right field. That scored Christian Robinson in the first inning. So 2 quick outs here for Parker Scott. Colton will try and extend this inning. First pitch curveball bends into the strike zone, strike one. The 0-1 to Kessler. He chases a curveball that bites into the dirt and gets away from the catcher Smith, and he's ahead 0-2. Looks like Colin Farrell, the pitcher, warming up for the Kettleers in the bullpen out of William and Mary. Kessler behind 0-2. Curveball he lays off this time. 1-2. Parker Scott, a really strong year after not pitching for almost 2 full seasons. Battled injuries, transfers, and now bouncing back after a really, really good year. A 2.18 ERA as he strikes out Kessler swinging, blew a fastball right by him. We'll go into the bottom of the 6th. The Kettleers still remain knotted up with the Chatham Anglers. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Jackson Wolf out for his 6th inning of work. That'll be the longest start already by a Kettleer this summer. Can't talk enough about how good Jackson Wolf has been today. Already 7 strikeouts, but it'll be the 3rd time around for the Chatham Anglers. Leadoff hitter Tyler Doan strides to the plate. First pitch at Doan's, curveball doesn't quite bend back into the strike zone. Misses away 1-0. Wolf has had the best of this West Virginia battle between Doans and himself as he lifts one out into right field. Giving chase is Robinson. He runs over and makes a sprinting catch in foul territory. A great grab by Christian Robinson, who showed off the wheels, running towards the bullpen of the Kettleers.
And he lost his hat. He was still able to make the play. Nice job by Christian Robinson. And can we talk about Jackson Wolf a little more? Mike Roberts' decision to stick with his big lefty on the hill. I love it. It's a 1-run or a 1-1 game. Neither team producing any offense. Why not stick with what's working?
First pitch changeup misses down and away to Spencer Torkelson. It's been held at just a single on the ball game, 1 for 2. And Wolf just 77 pitches, so Coach Roberts wanted to stretch him out here. Misses again with the changeup 2-0. I'm sure Wolf had a say in that.
Yeah, you know, when you're grooving like that, I mean, this guy struck out 5 of the last 7 before that fly out by Dones. I mean, he's feeling it. He gets another shot at Torkelson here. You're behind the count, so you got to find a way to get a strike. If he gets a breaking pitch over here, it might be in luck.
The 2-0. Lifted straight up into the infield. Should be Oviedo who calls it. He does. Camps under it and makes the grab, so 2 quick outs for Jackson Wolf.
The designated hitter from the University
And typically the
of Southern
concern is
California,
third time
number
around the
2,
lineup, these guys start to settle in. They've seen you a couple times, but hasn't phased Wolf at all. Gets 2 quick outs. Dones and Torkelson in their third at-bats against Wolf.
He's bottled up Torkelson, 1 for 3 against Wolf, and he just went right after him with a fastball. Got him to pop up to short.
First pitch of Jamal O'Gwyn misses down and away, ball 1. It's not out of the inning yet. Jamal O'Gwyn, a guy we know who can swing it. One of the hottest hitters in the Cape League. Wolf steps off and regroups. O'Gwyn hitting .333 in his last 5 ball games. 5 for 15, drove in 7 runs in 5 games. He's been red hot. But he's 0-2 today with a strikeout. He did have a loud out to straightaway center field on a nice grab by Dante Williams. He's ahead in the count now to Wolf 2-0. Wolf steps off again. He'll talk to Kessler. Looks like they're lacking some communication here. Might not be able to see the signs. Sometimes it gets a little hard. You'll see catchers paint their fingernails rather, some fluorescent yellow. Yeah, toenails wouldn't help you much.
Yeah.
Fingernails, some fluorescent yellow, sometimes white. These night games with the lights casting some shadows, it's hard to pick up the numbers. You don't know how many fingers your catcher's waving down there. They may be talking about something else, though. You never know. Whatever it is, the conference just ended. Home plate umpire, it's Sam Finn will signal. Now that's the second conference, something that the Cape League's newly enforcing, something we've seen across baseball as part of the speeded up agenda we've seen in the MLB that's kind of trickled down to all over baseball, all over the country. 2-0 pitch fastball misses low, 3-0. So O'Gwyn, the DH, ahead 3-0 to Jackson Wolf. Wolf just has 1 walk on the ball game. He walked Arenas in the second. Able to get one in there for a strike, now 3-1. 7 strikeouts to 1 walk for Jackson Wolf today. Out of the windup, he kicks and deals the 3-1 to O'Gwyn. Another strike, pours one in, 3-2 now.
That'll do. Got to finish here. You don't want to lose him with 2 outs. Wolf set for his 85th pitch of the night.
Brady Smith on deck. If O'Gwyn can win this payoff pitch, he spoils it, and we'll do 3-2 again. Smith, the catcher on deck, is also 0 for 2 in the ball game. Just 2 hits for Chatham. Of course, the home run off the bat of Polkovich in the second, and the single off the bat of Spencer Torkelson in the first. That's it. Kettleers only have 2 hits as well. It's a single to lead off the ball game from Christian Robinson and a single from Mason Dodd. So it's been a pitcher's duel so far tonight at Veterans Field. The payoff pitch again. Crushed down into center field. Dante Williams back at the track, at the wall, and he'll watch it sail out of here. And a solo shot off the bat of Jamal O'Gwyn gives the Chatham Anglers the lead.
$50 is donated to the family pension.
Well, he was 1 pitch away from completing what would have been a really dazzling 6-inning start. Jackson Wolf would love to have that pitch back. His reaction said it all on the mound. Immediately jumped down into a catcher's position. Couldn't believe it on the front, but O'Gwyn just got all of that one. Barreled it up, sounded good, looked good. It was gone for good. And it went out onto the hill in center field. Williams just ran out of real estate. And Chatham takes the lead again on 1 swing of a bat.
And Coach Roberts will be out. Likely end the night for Jackson Wolf. It does. A great outing, though. Only giving up a pair of solo shots. We'll have the final line for Jackson Wolf and some information on the new pitcher when we come back. We'll take a short break here. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Wolf was knocked out of the ball game on a solo shot from Jamal O'Gwyn. Still a great start from Jackson Wolf, just giving up a pair of solo home runs. He is in line for the loss, however, with the Kettleers only scoring 1 run so far. The first pitch from Brereton, curveball, misses high, 1-0. Brereton from Emory University, a two-way guy. We've seen him mostly on the mound. The lone D3 player on this Kettleers roster. This will be his 4th appearance of the summer already for the Kettleers. Misses down with a fastball, behind 2-0. He's pitched 5 innings, struck out 8, given up 2 hits. No record with a 1.80 ERA. He's been pretty sharp for the Kettleers out of the bullpen. He's facing the cleanup hitter Smith. Fouls one straight back. It's 2-1 now.
Brereton has just been tough as nails. A D3 kid making the most of his opportunity. At this point, he might have earned his spot on this Kettleers squad. His job is to get out of the 6th inning and keep it at a 2-1 deficit.
Out of the windup, he kicks and deals to 2-1. Got him on a curveball swinging, 2-2. Final line for Jackson Wolf, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk. So 2-2 to Brady Smith, rather, the catcher from the University of Florida. The 2-2 pitch, curveball, got him looking. Strike 3, Brereton sets down the first batter he faces to get out of the 6th inning. But Chatham's able to take the lead on a solo shot off the bat of Jamal O'Gwyn. So it's 2-1 in favor of the home team. Anglers will go into the top of the 7th, 2-1 Chatham. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Fourth inning of work. He's been sharp for the Anglers. He's only given up 1 single. He struck out a pair. Adam Oviedo will get his second look at Scott. Bats from the right side of the plate. One of the hotter hitters for the Kettleers is yet to reach base today as he swings through a curveball behind 0-1.
Ovi in jeopardy of losing his 8-game on-base streak, 5-game hitting streak. He's been down in counts a lot. That's when he gets himself into trouble. He can hit with 2 strikes. It's just a matter of maybe being a little more aggressive.
Swings through another fastball behind 0-2. Oviedo, in his last 5 ball games, you mentioned the 5-game hitting streak. During that hitting streak, he's hitting .583, 7 hits, 3 home runs in his last 5 ball games. Not only one of the hottest hitters for the Kettleers, one of the hottest hitters in the Cape Cod League. As he swings and misses a curveball. Tries to run it out to first base, but Smith will throw it on over to first.
The left fielder.
So an 0 for 3 day so far for Adam Oviedo with a pair of strikeouts.
Meanwhile, Parker Scott starting to really settle in his first Cape League appearance. 3 1/3 innings of work. He's only allowed 1 hit, no runs, and he has struck out 3, including back-to-back batters going back to the 6th inning.
We talked about how sharp he was this past spring at Oklahoma State as he bends a curveball into the strike zone against Shavers, strike 1. The big thing that stuck out to both of us, I think, was the 14 walks in 50-plus innings. Curveball this time bends out of the strike zone, 1-1. And he's yet to walk anybody today so far in his 3 1/3 innings of work. 1-1 to the left-handed hitting Shavers. Looking for his first hit of the ball game as well. And he gets it on a line drive out to right field. That'll fall. So a base hit for Parker Shavers. Just a second hit of the ball game off of Parker Scott. And the 3rd hit of the ball game total for the Kettleers.
Well, it's interesting. Sorry, Aram. It's interesting that the 2 hits have been both lefty batters, Dodd and then Shavers, both to the pull side.
Breaking the chains of what's been the normal, the status quo for the Kettleers so far this season. You mentioned Mason Dodd. He has the other single for the Kettleers this ball game. He singled in the 5th. Pickoff over to first. Shavers just able to get back. Of course, Scott, the southpaw, has a nice crafty move over to first. We've seen a lot of nice moves from left-handed pitchers in the Cape League so far this summer. He takes a long look this time, comes home, and Dodd fouls it straight back on a big swing.
And Shavers not afraid out there. He's got a pretty decent lead. Not the tallest guy in the world at 5'10", but he's pretty speedy. He can take care of himself out on the base paths, and Mike Roberts looks over at him in the third base.
With hits being hard to come by, Shavers could be on the move. Had 10 stolen bases at Coastal Carolina this spring. The 0-1 to Dodd. He takes a curveball for a strike, 0-2. Arajanu waits on deck. The switch hitter will bat from the right side against Parker Scott. Shavers with the lead off first. Scott way ahead to the left-handed hitting Dodd. Stands with a crouched stance from the left side. Swings at a curveball, but it gets by the catcher Smith, and Shavers is able to advance to second base. So with first base occupied, Dodd will just stride over to the dugout. He can't run to first base.
Kettleers trading out for 90 feet. Effectively a sacrifice if you want to look at it that way.
But there's still 2 away here. Arajanu will come to the plate, batting from the right side, the switch hitter. We talked about runners in scoring position with 2 outs being a strength of the Kettleers. Came into today hitting .313, a league best. .264 with runners in scoring position in general. They've been a bit of a statistical anomaly. To have a higher average with 2 outs versus 1 out or less with runners in scoring position is a little funky, but I'm sure the Kettleers will take it as we'll have a mound visit.
Dennis Cook, the Chatham pitching coach, in his second season on Tom Holliday's staff, comes out.
There's some action in the Anglers bullpen. It's a right-hander warming up. We'll see if they'll stick with Parker Scott, who's been sharp for the most part tonight. Sam Finn will stride out to the mound and expedite this conversation. So Anu is 0 for 2 on the game. He's 0 for his last 10. And that'll be the end of the line for Parker Scott. We'll have a pitching change. It'll be a right-handed pitcher. We'll have the final line for Parker Scott and more on the new pitcher for the Anglers when we come back. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. This past spring, a 3.51 ERA. He worked mostly as a closer, picked up 7 saves, split time as a closer with Gregory Valise, who you might have saw in the Cape League with the Anglers last summer. He was a 15th round draft pick to the Angels in the 2019 draft. Fetterman likely taking over the closer role full time with Valise graduating to pro ball.
Big spot for Cotuit. You get Scott out of the ball game. He was really good on the mound to bridge the middle innings for Chatham. Went 3 2/3, didn't allow a run yet, although he is responsible for Chambers on second base. Just 2 hits, no walks, and 3 Ks. Good pitching from both teams tonight. It was a spectacular show by Jackson Wolf, and Richard Brereton's also solid out of the pen for Cotuit. RJ Dabovich and Parker Scott, 2 good outings to start for Chatham. Now it's up to Fetterman to try and keep that trend going in what's been a pitcher's matchup. 2-1 ball game, Kettleers down. Let's do it, Araj Anu. He's got some unfinished business after getting robbed of the home run his last time up.
So Anu will flip over to the left side. Came up to the plate from the right side with Parker Scott on the mound, the left-hander. Now the right-hander, Fetterman, grooves the first pitch fastball. He takes for a strike. Mentioned Anu getting robbed. That made it 0 for his last 10. It's been a little bit of a rough go after a torrid start. He started 8 for 24. Was a big part of the Kettleers' potent offense to start this season. He's behind 0-1. Takes another fastball inside corner behind 0-2.
Good hard fastball from Fetterman coming out with straight heat out of the bullpen.
So Fetterman way ahead 0-2. He struck out 60 in just 45 innings this past season in Miami. A guy that can definitely punch out a lot of hitters. He comes set. Doesn't even check on the runner at second, Shavers, and blows one by Anu, but it gets past Smith, and he will not get Anu. Anu will be able to beat it out at first base. It looked like he had a chance. Decided to hold on to it. It's been a tough day behind the plate for Smith.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. Brady Smith played for the Kettleers last season, caught, DH'd, and played first base. Well, the thing that I didn't mention is his weakest link in that defensively was playing behind the plate. He still has a lot to develop as a catcher defensively, and we've seen it tonight. That's about the 3rd or 4th ball that he's let get past him. It's the 2nd time Cotuit's gotten a base runner on a drop 3rd strike, and it keeps the inning alive. It could have been an exciting play because Chambers had rounded well past 3rd, and if Smith would have thrown down to 1st to try and get Anu, maybe there could have been a play at the plate.
We have a conversation between the umpires. Not sure what they could be talking about there. They're going to call the runner on first out Anu. We'll see if we have an explanation. Coach Roberts will go talk to the umpire. Trying to sift through my mind at the potential things that Anu could have done to be called out. It didn't look like he ran out of the baseline to get in the way of any throw. Smith didn't even throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it could be either. No foul ball dispute on the play, no foul tip that would have gone into the glove to catch it. The ball clearly squirted back behind him. It was a drop 3rd strike and a strikeout. The question is, why is he out, though? That's the call right now on the field.
This is when you wish it was kind of like football where they could turn the mics on and let us know exactly what was happening. Coach Roberts is not happy, and he's in the face of home plate umpire Sam Finn.
He's letting them have it right now. Mike Roberts is a big-hearted guy. He's one of the most genuine, nice managers you'll meet throughout the Cape League. But right now, he can get fiery at times with the umpire. And
you won't be successful in this league or in baseball in general without being competitive. He's got his arms crossed, his hands on his hip. He's going back and forth with Sam Finn. He's following Sam Finn all the way back towards the home dugout. They're walking together. Now they stop right at the first base line. You can hear Coach Roberts a little bit. The Kettleers will take the field, but Roberts is still out there on the field.
It's crazy. Roberts is just dominating this argument right now. He is right up at his grill. He is yelling. It was a casual conversation, but it quickly turned into a bark fest, and he is still going at him.
All right, we've got
it's a 7th inning stretch, but Coach Roberts is still going, and Sam Finn has yet to get out of this conversation.
And I don't think Coach Roberts has been tossed yet, so Brereton's back out there on the mound. He's warming up. And Roberts is just talking back and forth, so we'll throw it to a break. It doesn't look like Roberts got tossed yet. We're in the 7th inning stretch, as you can hear the young kids singing. We'll be back on the Cotuit Kettleers broadcast on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Coach Roberts finally went back to the dugout after a lengthy conversation with Sam Finn. We're not totally sure what happened. We even had some fans coming up to us asking us if we knew what happened. We know just about as much as anyone. We'll have to find out after the game exactly what the call was. So Brereton's back out for his second batter. He struck out the only batter he faced in the bottom of the 2nd. He came in with 2 outs to relieve Jackson Wolf. He's ahead 0-1, or behind 2-0, sorry.
Tough break for Cotuit. I don't know what that call was either. A drop third strike on Arajanu, but then after a review, the umps say that he was out, and Mike Roberts went on a lengthy conversation to argue that one. Good to see him get fired up. Didn't get tossed, but it's good to light a fire under your team, and hopefully Cotuit responds to it.
So Brereton behind 3-0 to Polkovich. And he's 3-0 swinging. Fouls it away. It's 3-1. Polkovich, of course, had the 1 home run on the day, one of the 2. A blast to left center. The 3-1 pitch. Lined out into left center. Shavers gives chase, but he won't get there in time. A base hit for Polkovich. So he's 2 for 3 on the ball game. Had a nice day in what's been mostly a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, Polkovich a standout, 2 for 3 now, and the big home run in the 2nd stands to be one of the differentiating hits. Of course, O'Gwyn with the big home run back in the 6th to give Chatham the lead. A pitch that Jackson Wolf wishes he could have back, but now Richard Brereton out of the bullpen has got to find a way to lock it down in the bottom of the 7th.
We'll have a pinch hitter. It's the power hitting Alex Terrell from the University of Miami. He's from Davie, Florida, and Archbishop McCarthy High School. He's a teammate of Daniel Fetterman, who's on the mound right now at the University of Miami, but they were also teammates in high school at Archbishop McCarthy. 3 consecutive state championships. It's been a powerhouse in South Florida. I played against them plenty of times, and I can vouch that they are pretty darn good. Terrell had 24 home runs in the spring against for Miami in his sophomore season. Bounced back after what was a really tough freshman year. He hit just 150, only poked 2 home runs. Bounces back to 293 and hits 24. He's looking to get going in the Cape, started just 2 for 11. So he's ahead 2-0. He takes a big swing at the 2-0 pitch and fouls it straight back and out of play. Terrell, stocky from the left side. He's 6'1", 220. Talking about guys that can put it over the hill, Alex Terrell is one of those guys that could have a shot at it. So Brereton out of the set. He takes a look over to first base and picks over. Polkovich dives in without a tag. So our explanation on that play we weren't sure about. What we've been told is that it was a strikeout on the swing and Anu hit the ball on a follow-through. So he was out at the plate for impeding on what would have been the throw to first base.
Interesting.
We don't have instant replay in the Cape Cod League, so we're not totally sure if that was the case. It's been a little bit of an all-over-the-place day for Sam Finn as Terrell fouls one straight back again.
You know, okay, that's fine with the call, but the tough part about it is that it was after a review, and you hate that they had to look at it because obviously that play happens in the moment on the base running part of the play, but it's tough for a play like that to go down, and that's the conclusion you get out of it.
So Polkovich, the runner on first, still nobody out. The pinch hitter, Alex Terrell, who's hitting for Paxton Wallace. Another pickoff over to first. This one closer, but Polkovich gets back.
Meanwhile, you need a ground ball here, Aram. You got to get one up the middle.
Terrell is by no means a burner on the base path, so a ground ball could easily be 2. Brereton ahead 2-2, and that ball is lined into the right center gap. And that'll get to the wall. Coming around third is Polkovich. They'll wave him home. Terrell comes into second. Dante Williams struggles to pick it up or throw it into the infield, but Polkovich scores easily. And Alex Terrell plates the third run of the ball game for the Anglers on a pinch hit double, a rocket to the right center gap.
Terrell comes up with a huge hit. Tom Holliday's got to be proud. A Miami grad looks on at a current Miami player get his team up 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th. The Anglers' bats have come alive here at home, and Cotuit's got to find a way to stop the bleeding. Still nobody out.
And if you're wondering why Terrell didn't get the start, once I rattled the numbers off to you, how does a guy with 24 home runs not get the start? He really struggles against left-handed pitching. We were talking about the Kettleers struggles. Coach Roberts usually sticks with his left-handed hitters despite it. Coach Holliday, a little bit of a different philosophy. He wanted to go to his right-handed hitters and let unleash Terrell on the right-handed pitchers. So that brings up Ben Ramirez, the shortstop. Terrell, the runner on second. Nobody out. Ramirez from USC, one of a couple Trojans on this roster. Of course, Jamal O'Gwynn, also a Trojan. He's from Chula Vista, California, and East Lake High School. He's ahead 1-0 to Brereton. Ramirez 0 for 2 on the day. Fastball gets the outside corner. That time 1-1.
2 other ball games going on tonight. This would have been an off day across the league, but 3 makeup games in total. Wareham's up 6-1 at home against Hyannis in the bottom of the 8th. Whitey leads Bourne 2-0 on the road in the bottom of the 7th.
The 1-1 curveball floats up. It almost fooled Kessler. It looks like they might have been crossed up. Kessler started to stand up, and as that ball broke back down, Kessler squatted back down with it. It ends up being a called strike. So it's 1-2 on a nasty curveball from Brereton. Fooled all parties involved. So Ramirez behind. Brereton trying to make it 0 for 3 for the shortstop Ramirez. He checks on Terrell at second. Gives him a second look and deals the pitch. A fastball that he jumps out of the way of does Ramirez. I'll make it 2-2. Infield playing straight up. Not much of a shift for the left-handed hitting Ramirez. Outfield straight up as well. Still no outs here. Chatham's already plated 1 in the bottom of the 7th. It's 3-1 in favor of the Kettleers, in favor of the Anglers, rather. And a ground ball through the 6-hole and past Oviedo. Terrell will stop at third base, but it's a base hit off the bat of Ben Ramirez. It's first and third. Still nobody out. 3 straight hits for the Anglers.
If you go back to the bottom of the 6th inning when we were still tied up, 1 apiece, Jackson Wolf on the mound, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs against Jamal O'Gwynn the second, and a solo home run to give Chatham a 2-1 lead. Richard Brereton got Brady Smith to strike out looking to finish that inning, but then single, double, run scores, and a single. Chatham's bat's starting to pick things up.
That brings up Jorge Arenas. He's 0 for 1. He reached on a walk, the lone walk on the day for Jackson Wolf. Quick pickoff over to first base. Ramirez dives back in time. So, of course, speed is not Terrell's calling card. We could have a play at the plate on a sac fly. Shaver's a strong arm in left. Yet to see what kind of arm Robinson has in right. Bends over a curveball, 75 miles an hour. Takes it for strike one.
Still nobody out in this inning. Arm and activity in the Kettleers' pen up the right field line. Matt Moore, a lefty, getting loose.
Arenas, a shortstop at Stetson. Some good alumni out of Stetson, a small school in Florida. A former shortstop from Stetson as well, Jacob DeGrom. He misses high with a fastball. He played shortstop at Stetson. He realized, hey, DeGrom, you got a great arm out there. Why don't you try pitching? A few years later, he wins a Cy Young.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Corey Kluber, he was a pitcher the whole time, but he also came out of Stetson. So Arenas, a shortstop. He's hit pretty well this season. I don't know if he has any Cy Youngs in his future, but continues to swing the bat well. Curveball, he spoils away foul. It's 1-2. .268 this past spring at Stetson. 4 home runs, 12 doubles, drove in 38 runs. Arenas, a durable guy. He's only missed 1 start in his 3-year career. So Brereton ahead 1-2, trying to get the first out of the inning. 1-2 fastball freezes Arenas for strike 3. So Brereton finally able to get an out after 3 straight hits. And that brings up the 9-hitter, Cade Cabanis, the right fielder.
That's big for Brereton. Now you set up a double play possibility with a first and third situation, 1 out.
So Cabanis is 0 for 2, struck out looking in the 5th. Middle of the infield stays back. Corners are actually back as well. First pitch curveball misses in the dirt. Wonder with the lack of speed with Terrell at third if Coach Roberts is trying his luck with the infield back. May not be a threat to run on a ground ball. Ball's lifted out of play, foul over the third base dugout. So Terrell is the runner on third. Ramirez the runner on first. Terrell reached on the RBI double, the pinch hit RBI double. Ramirez moved him to third on a base hit, a 2-strike single between third and shortstop. So that's how we've gotten here to first and third, 1 away. It's a 1-1 count to the 9-hitter. Another pickoff over to first base to keep Ramirez close. 3-1 the score in favor of Chatham. They have the edge in hits as well, 6 hits as opposed to the Kettleers 3. And what's largely been a pitcher's duel tonight at Veterans Field. Brereton trying to keep it at 2 runs. A ground ball over to the first baseman, Dodd. He goes to second base. They try and turn it, not in time, and it gets past the first baseman. And Castanano dive into second base. And he's in, not in time. It looked like the tag would have got him there. You were signaling out right next to me, Sam. It looked like they got him, but safe, says Mike Rabideau.
Wow,
the third base umpire.
Well, you got to applaud the effort by Richard Brereton off the mound. Number one, good job by Mason Don to start that 1-6, and then they couldn't get the 3 for a double play at first, or 3-6-1, so they couldn't get Brereton covering back at first. But then the hustle from him to rally back to that ball after it bounced off the fence and then try and gun down the runner and Cannabis at second base, and he nearly did, but wasn't able to, according to the call. I thought it was very close. I thought the run got in there, and I thought it was a really good clean tag by Adam Oviedo.
You wonder if Dodd might have had a better chance just going at home, gunning down the lead out, keeping the game at 3-1. Terrell was running on contact. He tried to go for the double play there. Wasn't able to get it. Looked like the throw wouldn't have been in time had the ball even been scooped. It got past first base towards the dugout, and Cabanis was able to advance to second base. So now it's 2-way. Cabanis on second base. Anthony Villar, another Miami Hurricane, will do the pinch hitting here. He hits for Tyler Dones, the leadoff hitter. Villar out of Westminster Christian High School in Miami, Florida, the alma mater of Alex Rodriguez, where he was drafted first overall out of. Takes another strike, 0-2. Villar, a sophomore, one of the younger players on this Chatham team. Had a great freshman season at Miami, a 37th round draft pick out of Westminster Christian. He goes with a no batting gloves look from the left side. Brereton comes set, kicks and deals the 0-2, blows it by him. But Brereton able to escape, but not before Chatham is able to add 2 more runs. One on a double off the bat of the pinch hitter Alex Terrell and another on a fielder's choice. So Chatham leads 4-1, will go into the top of the 8th. Cotuit chasing 3. My partner Sam Neidermann will take you home here at Veterans Field. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers.
Welcome back to Veterans Field. The Kettleers trail at Chatham A's 4-1, top of the 8th inning. Dante Williams, then Christian Robinson and Nick Gonzalez. 9-1 and 2 due up for Cotuit. Got to find a rally under the lights here on the lower cape. Daniel Fetterman, the right-hander, kicks and deals, and Williams slashes it back foul for strike 1. Good to have you along with us tonight. Sam Neidermann, Aram Leighton. Chatham has answered back. A home run by Jamal O'Gwyn in the 6th to make it 2-1. 2 more coming home in the bottom of the 7th. 0-1 to Williams. Ricocheted back foul off the chest protector of Smith behind home plate. 0-2 on the center fielder from Arizona. Dante 0 for 2. Couple of pop-ups. 1 to catcher and 1 into left field. Alex Terrell now plays at first base in place of Paxton Wallace. 0-2. Line to short. Couple of hops to Ramirez. Shuffle and a throw. 1 out to get Williams.
The right fielder, number 21, Christian Robinson.
Williams retired 6-3. 1 out in the top of the 8th. Base is empty. Back to the top of the Cotuit order. Here's Christian Robinson working on a 1 for 3 night. Singled in the 1st and came around to score the only run of the contest for Cotuit. He's struck out in the 3rd and also struck out in the 5th. Bright bursting lights at Veterans Field. Diamond really glistens under a nice night sky here in Chatham. First pitch breaking ball from Fetterman, called for a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Kettleers in the maroon tops on the white pants. Chatham in the blue tops, trimmed in red with the white pants. 0-1. Another breaking ball, down and out, 1-1 on Robinson. Chatham 4 unanswered runs. Solo shots by Polkovich and O'Gwyn. RBI double by the pinch hitter Alex Terrell. And another run coming home on an error in the 7th. 1-1. Fastball smacked into deep left field. It's back at the track and over the head of Torkelson. It takes a skip off the wall, and Robinson coasts into second. He's got a 1-out double to spark the Kettleers here in the top of the 8th.
We've seen Robinson not afraid to go the other way, letting the ball get deep there. Pretty hard to beat the left fielder over the head if you're a left-handed hitter, going opposite field and just blasting it over the head of Torkelson, who can move pretty well out there. A great piece of hitting from Robinson. He's been one of the bright spots in this pitcher's duel so far today.
Robinson collects his second personal hit, 4th team hit for Cotuit. 4-1 Chatham, top of the 8th inning.
Come on, Nick.
Robinson stands off second base. One down, and Nick Gonzalez back at the plate, 0 for 3. With a ground out to short his last time up in the 6th. Fetterman out of the stretch. Stands straight up. Holds the black mitt at his belt. First pitch fastball, zip back foul. No balls and 1 strike. Fetterman shakes off Smith. A Miami Hurricane working with the Florida Gator behind the plate. 4-1 Chatham, 0-1 to Gonzalez. Sweeping slider away. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a good little rivalry, but they got to work together as a team.
I grew up a Miami fan, and I can tell you very much so. It's a good rivalry. I grew up despising the Florida Gators, but nobody more than the Florida State Seminoles.
That would be the one. Does Florida hate Miami or FSU more?
I'd say FSU.
Makes sense. Smacked ball on the left side. Nick Gonzalez with a base hit to left. Torkelson bobbled it. Robinson chugging on home, and Gonzalez comes up with an RBI single in the 8th. Gonzalez now reaching base in 12 consecutive ball games to open up the summer. He plates Robinson to make it a 4-2 ball game in the 8th.
The third baseman, number 8, Casey Schmidt.
Come on now.
I apologize for the mess.
Good job by Nick Gonzalez. Hit that ball hard on the left side, and then Torkelson wasn't able to field it cleanly in left field. Played a lot of right field last summer. Now he's getting a look in left field. Casey Schmidt takes the ball downstairs. It's interesting to see that defensive aspect of his game might be the one weak link.
It's something that most people don't really look at because, of course, he's known for his hitting, but it's something that has to improve. At the end of the day, you got to do all parts of it to be a good player at the big league level. Can't judge him on a couple plays. Obviously, the one over his head he didn't have much of a chance at, but it looked like he took his eye off that ball, looking at home, thinking he might have a play at the plate. Didn't watch it into the glove and ended up bobbling it.
Chatham up 4-2. Kettleers have 1 back here in the 8th on the Gonzalez hit. Man on first with 1 out. Fastball outside to Casey Schmidt. 3 balls and no strikes to the number 3 batter in the Cotuit order. Schmidt 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking. He was a hit batsman back in the 1st. He represents the tying run late in this one. Daniel Fetterman, the right-hander out of Miami, out of the stretch. 3-0. Fastball low at the shins. Schmidt works a 1-out walk.
Come on, Cass, let's go now.
Schmidt's on first, Gonzalez on second. Potential go-ahead run ready to come to the plate. Here comes Colton Kessler. Chatham up 4-2 in the top of the 8th inning. And Aram, I think you just won something out of the 50-50 raffle.
Yeah, I didn't win the money, but I won something to the Chatham Squire Harbor Cruise for 2.
A gift certificate from the Chatham Squire. You've got a Highline Harbor Cruise for 2. Wow.
I didn't even know I entered for that. I'll take it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. Aram Leighton, breaking news. He is a raffle champion here at Veterans Field.
See, I do it more for the donation because I always figure I'm going to lose. But
yeah,
I'll take it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chatham. I like it here. Veterans Field.
Oh my God.
Come to Veterans Field. They give you a lot of prizes.
You've got a cruise for 2.
You want to come?
You should take Claudia, not me.
That's a good call. That is a good call. She's going to appreciate that.
4-2, Chatham here in the top of the 8th. Cotuit's got 2 on with 1 out. 1 already home in this inning. Gonzalez, the RBI hit. 1 to Kessler, breaking pitch in the dirt, 1-1. Can the Kettleers find a way off the deck? Cotuit has rallied once this season. It was a tie against YD on Father's Day. Game 2 of that doubleheader. Took a 9-7 lead, scoring 5 runs with 2 outs in the 7th, and then lost the lead on an error. And it ended in a 9-9 tie. Wave and a miss by Kessler at a hard fastball upstairs, 1-2.
Did you hear the collective exhale from the crowd all over here? Because, man, did Kessler take a big swing at that, and we know when he connects that he can put it as far as anybody. He's looked like a guy that's been much more locked in. This is a great spot for the Kettleers. Tying run on base.
Schmidt the tying run at first. Gonzalez at second. Kessler go-ahead run at the plate. Fetterman wants the signs again. 4-2 Chatham, top of the 8th. Gonzalez an RBI single to make the deficit go down to 2. First and second with only 1 out. Fetterman's ready. He's got his sign. And now the 1-2. Breaking pitch. Loop back foul. Kessler stays alive. 2 runs on 5 hits and 1 error for Cotuit on the road. 4 runs on 6 hits and no errors for Chatham at home. It's been a good battle. Good pitching by R.J. Dabovich and Parker Scott for Chatham. Now Fetterman trying to close it out. Jackson Wolf went 5 2/3, only allowing 2 runs in his start for the Kettleers. Time called at home plate after a long standoff on the rubber. Chatham 4 and the Kettleers 2, top of the 8th inning. 1 out and 2 on. 1-2 count to Kessler. Breaking pitch low, 2-2.
Kessler just looks so much more comfortable up there as opposed to how he looked in the first few games of the season. We see why he put up such good numbers this past spring. You know he has the power numbers, but even just his takes, he looks so much more comfortable laying off those curveballs. That's a sharp curveball from Fetterman in a good spot, and he looked like he tracked it all the way.
2 on with 1 out. 2-2, cut and a miss. Fetterman gets him upstairs. 91 miles of fastball right there. Kessler down on strikes for the second out in the 8th inning.
Fortunately, I think I jinxed him there, but it was a good at-bat. Just power pitcher in Fetterman was able to elevate a low 90s fastball after spinning a curveball, and he set it up really well there on Kessler.
2 outs, still 2 on. Forward to Chatham here in the top of the 8th inning. Adam Oviedo, the next batter at the plate. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. But he has come up with a clutch hit late in the season at times. Go back to opening day against YD. He takes, fastball at the letters, 1-0. Dante Williams grounded to short to begin the inning. Christian Robinson had a double. He came around to score on Nick Gonzalez' RBI single. That made it 4-2. Schmidt walked, and then Kessler struck out. Nobody holding on the runners. First and second with 2 away. And Fetterman turns back to check on Gonzalez at second. Nobody home. Normal depth for the Chatham defense. Outfield plays a little deep. Schmidt off first, Gonzalez off second. 1-0 to Ovi. Fastball up again, 2-0. Mike Roberts just looks down in the third base's coaching box, arms folded across his chest, sweeps his right leg across the grass. 16 seasons as a Kettleer manager. And he's off to a good start in his Sweet 16 year. Has his team in first place. Can they find a way to hang on to it? 2-0. Fastball, called strike at the knees. 90 miles an hour from Fetterman. 2 balls and a strike on Oviedo. Chatham up 4-2 in the top of the 8th. Kettleers have 2 on with 2 out. Fetterman zones in for the sign from Smith. 2-1. Breaking pitch up. 3 balls and a strike on Oviedo. Can Oviedo find a way to extend the inning? Fetterman hasn't had the best control of this at-bat. Tying run at first in Schmidt. 4-2 Chatham, 3-1. Fastball hit hard to deep center, but Polkovich is right under it, and he gloves it for out number 3. Oviedo with a crack, but just not enough mustard on that one. And it stays in the yard, and the Kettleers make a little bit of a dent into the deficit. Nick Gonzalez, an RBI single. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and a couple left on base for the Kettleers. It is 4-2. Chatham has the lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. Be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Inning in Chatham. Kettleers cut it in half in the top of this inning. 4-2 lead still to Chatham. And here's Spencer Torkelson. Richard Brereton still on the mound for Cotuit. It is his second full inning of work. Came in to finish off the 6th after Jackson Wolf surrendered the home run to Jamal O'Gwyn to give up the lead. Breaking ball runs inside on Torkelson. 2 balls and no strikes to the 2-time All-America. Torkelson kept in check this afternoon, 1 for 3.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, we'll see. Here's a 2-0. Fastball sliced off foul. He's heading to Team USA for the 2nd consecutive summer after Tuesday's matchup against Orleans. Well built, 6'1", 215, just a machine-like body type. Kind of like a running back or a linebacker, and that's because he is a running back and a linebacker. Played that in football in high school at Casa Grande High School up in the Bay Area of California. Grew up alongside Andrew Vaughn, actually, one of his friendly rivals at Cal. They both had the same hitting coach growing up.
It's so funny because off the air I was just talking to Peter Flaherty, our GM liaison. I said his swing looks so similar to Andrew Vaughn's. From the right side, so repeatable.
3-1 fastball off the plate. Torkelson gets on for the 2nd time tonight. This time a walk to lead things off in the home half of the 8th. Could be worse. He torched Cotuit last summer, had a couple of home runs in the 2 games that he played against the Kettleers. Had 2 home runs yesterday, 1 in each game, and a doubleheader against Bourne. Torkelson on first base with nobody out. Here's Jamal O'Gwyn, the 2nd, 1 for 3 with a go-ahead solo home run in the 6th. His team has since added 2 more in the 7th. Cotuit got 1 back in the top of this 8th inning. And Tom Holliday wants a pinch runner at first base.
From Georgia Tech,
Colin
number
Hall
1,
comes on and plays with
Hall.
Spencer Torkelson,
Pinch running for Spencer
bench
Torkelson.
player from Georgia Tech University.
Going back to Torkelson, isn't it nice where when you're playing baseball, 1 for 3 days considered kind of an off day? You reach base twice, you're
Yeah.
1 for 3, and they're like, oh, we held him in check.
Double play depth for the Cotuit infield. Brereton a spin back to check on first. Hall dives back in. He's got good speed. His father, Danny Hall, is the head coach of Georgia Tech baseball in Atlanta. No batting gloves for him on the base pass, but a left wrist protector. Jamal O'Gwyn takes a strike. Good curveball from Brereton. No balls and 1 strike.
That's a Georgia Tech family. They're just all Yellow Jackets there. His brother Carter also played baseball at Georgia Tech under his father.
Bet you that'd be a cool place to play ball in downtown Atlanta.
It's a beautiful park.
Gonzalez and Obi pinching up the middle. Pitch out, snapback throw by Kessler at first. Stab back tag by Dodd, not in time. Hall dives back in safe. Ooh, good setup by Cotuit. Brereton pitched out, and Kessler gunned it down to first as quick as he could. Everything but the call from Tom Carey over there.
And those are the things you'll see as these guys play more games with each other and we get deeper into the season. They'll be on the same page more often. You can have a little signal for a pitch out. Make sure Dodd knows on first base. It seemed like everyone was on the same page. They just missed back picking Colin Hall there. A great play all around.
Chatham leads 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th. 1-1 pitch, looped in the air, deep center field. Williams backpedaling, and he's got it a couple of steps in front of the warning track. Out number 1. Hall stays put at first base. O'Gwyn with another hard hit ball. This time it stays in the yard.
Brady Smith.
Now Gwyn's been keeping Williams busy out there, just putting him over his head. 1 left the yard, the other 2 he had to retreat right about with his back against the wall, quite literally, and made the catch both times.
1 down and 1 on. Chatham 4, Cotuit 2. Bottom of the 8th. Here's Brady Smith batting from the right side. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He takes a curveball low and in for a called strike. Dark sky overhead. No fog today at Veterans Field. Looks like we dodged it. Lights on. A slight breeze blowing out. Good throw over to first by Brereton to look at Hall again, but he's able to slide in head first.
Apparently the word fog is forbidden at Veterans Field.
It was interesting. We were talking with their broadcasters beforehand, and Chatham did not have much of a fog problem for the previous 10 years until last summer. Good throw by Brereton again, and Hall just got in there in the nick of time. They almost got him again. First it was a snapback by Kessler from behind home plate after a pitch out. Now 2 good throws from Brereton on the rubber. The righty looks in at Smith. He's ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Chatham leads 4-2. Fastball low, 1-1. Last summer there were a lot of fog outs. This summer there's already been 1 game that was interfered with the fog. And if you're not familiar, Veterans Field is right on the water, so fog comes in from right field. It just sinks down onto the diamond, which is sunken in. Another throw over by Brereton. Hall uses all of his length to dive back in. Still a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Brady Smith. Still a 4-2 game in favor of Chatham, bottom of the 8th inning. Runner on first with 1 out. Dodd holds on. Hall with a modest lead. Brereton back to first. Low pick. Good stop by Dodd to keep it from getting past him. Another dive back by Hall, who's a little shaken up after the play. He calls for time and dusts off his uniform. That is getting quite the workout right now. And the front side of his body.
About 6 headfirst dives from Hall coming right off the bench. Got his jersey dirty in about 2 minutes.
Still a double play possibility for Cotuit up the middle. 1 out and 1 on. 1-1. Little blooper into left field for a base hit. Brady Smith with his first hit of the ball game. 7th hit of the night for Chatham. That keeps the train moving in the home half of the 8th inning. First and second with 1 out. And Caden Polkovich back at the plate, Chatham's most productive batter on the night. 2 for 3 with a home run, a single, and 2 runs scored. Might have caught it on the crowd mic, one of the Cotuit fans saying, hey, let's turn 2 now. Kettleers always travel well on the Cape, best traveling road fan team in the league. Still plenty of maroon here in the lower bowl behind home plate. 4-2 Chatham, bottom of the 8th, 2 on and 1 out. First pitch to Polkovich, fastball on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to the Cowboy from Oklahoma State. Big home run in the second that initially tied the game. His team leads Cotuit 4-2 in the home half of the 8th. 0-1, breaking pitch, knocked high in the air. Tracking back and right, Robinson at the wall. He looks up and he's able to snag it right at the fence for out number 2. A gun into second, and that allows both base runners to advance. Wasn't able to get the trailing runner and Smith on the throw, but a nice play by Christian Robinson to find that ball deep in the night sky and high pointed for a catch. Otherwise, it would have been right over the top of the ball. It could have been a home run for Brady, or rather Caden Polkovich again.
He just got under that one. Still carried pretty deep out there. It's a short porch and right, just 314 down the line. But it was a high pitch, just wasn't able to get the barrel totally on it. But still got a pretty good piece there, able to hit it deep enough for both runners to advance.
Both runners tagged, second and third with 2 outs. Chatham up 4-2. Alex Terrell looks at a curveball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Jackson Wolf began this game and struck out 7 over 5 2/3 to start for the Kettleers on the hill. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. Exited the game as a losing pitcher. 1-0. High swing and a miss by Terrell. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cotuit trails 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Kettleers got 1 back in the top of the 8th inning. RBI single by Nick Gonzalez. That plated Christian Robinson after a double. Got to keep it at a 2-run game here. 1-1 from Brereton. Swing and a miss by Terrell. 1-2. Kessler was ready to throw down to third. Hall had to dive back in again. Schmidt wasn't covering.
Way ahead, 1-2 to the power hitting Terrell with first base open. You don't want to give him much to hit here. It's got to be a strikeout pitch or a ball. Obviously, we saw what Terrell can do to a baseball in his first at-bat. Punished one to right center.
Torkelson walked, lifted for a pinch runner in Hall. O'Gwyn fired one into center field. It was caught by Williams. Smith singled to left. Polkovich hit a deep fly ball to right. Second and third with 2 outs. 1-2 breaking ball, smothered by Kessler behind home plate. Good work, 2-2. Richard Brereton, the 2-way man out of a D3 school in Emory University. Trying to get out of this inning. 2-2. Fastball runs up and in at the letters. Full count on Terrell. Maybe a chance for some momentum. Kettleers have the bat one more time in the top of the 9th. Down 4-2 against Chatham in the bottom of the 8th. Second and third with 2 outs. Terrell at the plate, Brereton on the bump. 3-2. Fastball just inside. And that's ball 4 to load the bases. Terrell works a walk. He's aboard for the second time as a substitute back in the 7th. Had the RBI double with the 7th. Now he walks with an open first base. Bases loaded for Chatham, and Ben Ramirez climbs back in. A chance to add on to a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That was a really good pitch by Brereton there. 3-2 runs the fastball in on Terrell, froze him. Must have just gotten a little too far inside. It's tough from our vantage point, just off to the left of home plate. But a borderline pitch for sure.
Breaking pitch to Ramirez at the shins. 1 ball and no strikes. Chatham ahead 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th, and an opportunity to break it open. Bases loaded with 2 outs for Ben Ramirez, who's 1 for 3 with a single his last time up in the 7th. Brereton works out of the stretch. Infield plays back. Nobody holds on to the runners. Time called behind home plate by Sam Finn. He's had an eventful night. Was chewed out by Mike Roberts back at the end of the 7th inning on a drop third strike call that was eventually ruled base running interference on Arajanu to call him out. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 1-0. Swing and a miss by Ramirez. Brereton sits in the mid-80s with that fastball, but he's able to get it by these hitters, and it's 1-1.
It's got to have some sinking action to it. I wonder if he throws a two-seam, something we have to ask Colton Kessler, and how he's able to get so many swings and misses. Like you mentioned, he blew it by Terrell, who I can promise you has caught up to fastballs in the mid-90s.
1-1, laced back foul, 1-2. 86 miles an hour on the last fastball from Richard Brereton.
Let's go, Rich. One more now. Get
RB fiddles with the ball behind the rubber. Gets ready to tow it again. Kessler runs through the signs on his chest protector in front of his mask as well with the bases loaded. Chatham by 2. 4-2 our score in the bottom of the 8th. 1-2. Breaking pitch, just nipped away foul. Went down to 73 miles an hour with a curveball that time.
We've seen him run the fastball up to 92. A little bit slower today in the high 80s like you mentioned, but still getting a lot of swings and misses. So that fastball must have a good amount of run on it.
It is dark. The lights are on at Vets Field. We are on the lower Cape. Kettleers down 4-2 against Chatham in the bottom of the 8th inning. Anglers a chance to run away with it. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 1-2 to Ramirez. Check swing, foul ball behind home plate. Delayed signal by Sam Finn, who was waiting for Colton Kessler to pick it up. Ramirez continues to battle with 2 strikes. Terrell on first. Smith on second. And the pinch runner and Hall on third. Bases full of A's. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. 4-2 ball game. Cotuit's down. 1-2. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Richard Brereton gets Ramirez on strikes, and he gets out of the bases loaded jam. No runs for Chatham on 1 hit. No errors and 3 left on base. We're on to the top of the 9th inning. Last call for the Kettleers, down 4-2 against the Chatham A's. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Daniel Fetterman still on the hill for Chatham. The big right-hander out of Miami goes up against 6, 7, and 8 in the Kettleer lineup. Parker Chavers, Mason Dodd, and then Arajanu due up. Aram, Cotuit got back within 2 runs in the top of the 8th. Richard Brereton gets a strikeout with the bases loaded in the bottom half of that inning. What do the Pinstripes got to do to try and rally on the road?
They've been able to scrap together some hits against Fetterman. It's just about making him throw strikes here. We've seen him be a little bit wild, so be patient, don't chase, don't give him any free strikes because he's been falling behind hitters. And when you get into those hitters' counts, don't waste that pitch because that might be the only good one you see in the at-bat.
Chavers from the left side. Fetterman deals in. A fastball called strike at the knees. 0-1. Chavers 1 for 3. Came up with a single back in the 7th inning. That was against Parker Scott. He hits one high in the air to center field. Polkovich ranges under it, and he makes the catch. Just offset to the left in front of the track. 2 pitches and 1 down in the top of the 9th.
Nice piece off the bat of Shavers, just the biggest part of the ballpark, the hardest part of the ballpark to hit it out. 385 straightaway center field. He gave it a shot there and a nice ride, but too deep back there.
Pinch hitter for Cotuit. Mason Dodd's night is done. He finishes up 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Duke Ellis comes off the bench. Mike Roberts goes to his veteran corner outfielder from Texas. Duke stands in from the left side. Nobody on and 1 out. Kettleers down 4-2 in the 9th. Pitch 1 from Fetterman. Swing and a miss. Foul tip into Smith's glove for strike 1. Arenas plays in just at the lip of the grass at third base. 0-1. Fastball high and out. 1 ball and 1 strike on Ellis.
So important for Duke to get on base here. You got the tying run on deck in Arajanu, a guy who could hit it out at any time. The priority always when you're down to your last couple outs is get the tying run to the plate. And Duke Ellis' job right here is just to be a leadoff hitter.
Cotuit trails by 2, 4-2. 1-1. Fastball smacked foul on the left side. Fetterman up in the count, 1-2. If there's any guy that knows how to get on base or how to hit with 2 strikes, it's Duke Ellis. Lanky outfielder, played for Cotuit last season and racked up an on-base streak that went over 25 games. It was incredible. Just has to find a way to get on here. Base is empty with 1 out. 1-2. Breaking pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Of course, him and Brady Smith, who's doing the catching right now, are a couple of welcomed late additions to last summer's Kettleers squad. Both came in July and both provided an impact down the stretch for a team that made the postseason, finished with an above 500 record, and was ultimately swept by the eventual league champion Wareham Gateman. Chatham 4, Cotuit 2. Bases empty, 1 out in the 9th. 2-2. Fastball called, strike 3. Ellis, the pinch hitter, goes down looking. And Cotuit's down to their final out here at Veterans Field. Brady Smith goes out to the mound to have 1 quick chat with Fetterman. Tom Holliday's scheduled balanced plan of pitching, 3 innings apiece. Just a little imbalanced. Parker Scott worked 3 2/3. Fetterman trying to cap off the final 2 1/3. And that final out awaits at the plate and potentially Arajanu. Switch hitter who bats from the left side for the 3rd time tonight. Switched over to the right side when he went up against Parker Scott back in the 5th. Breaking pitch from Fetterman outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Anu 0 for 3. Subject to that controversial play that ended the 7th. A strikeout, dropped 3rd strike, but he was called out for interference on the base paths at first. 1-0, swing and a miss. Fastball foul tipped into the glove. 1 ball and 1 strike. Four 4-2 Chatham, 2 outs in the 9th. Here's a 1-1. Cut and a miss. Hardy cut in a fastball upstairs. The Kettleers down to their final strike, 1-2 on Anu.
Looks like the scouting report on Anu is work away. They've been going away to him, and he's been reaching the last couple ball games at those pitches, not able to get the bat on him. Sets up away again here.
Curveball down and away, 2-2.
Come on, Rise.
Cotuit scraped 1 across in the top of the 8th inning. Gonzalez the RBI hit. It's still a 4-2 game to Chatham in the 9th. Nobody on, 2 outs. 2-2 way outside, 3-2 on Anu. Just got to find a way to get that tying run on. Dante Williams, the number 9 batter, on deck. Fetterman offset to the first base side of the rubber. Stretches both arms overhead, touches the brim of his cap, then his nose, rubs his right hip, back to the brim of the cap, now comes set. 4-2 Chatham in the 9th. 2 outs, nobody on. Full count pitch to Anu. Fastball popped up, drifting back, third base side, and it gets onto the top of the Chatham dugout. Just a foul ball. Thought it might get onto the other side of the netting, but instead it bounced on top of the green dugout, third base sign. No room for Jorge Arenas to make a play. Anu stays alive. A two-time draft pick by the Boston Red Sox, was selected in the 12th round in this year's Major League Draft. He still can sign by the deadline if he wants to. 4-2 Chatham, 9th inning. Bases clear and 2 outs. 3-2. Fastball, it's in there for a called strike. The Chatham Anglers defeat the Cotuit Kettleers tonight by a final score of 4-2. Daniel Fetterman works the final 2 1/3 innings and gets the save for the A's. Cotuit unable to muster up enough offense to get some really good pitching tonight. And we'll come back with the final wrap-up from Veterans Field after this break. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The Chatham Anglers in the 9th. Cotuit unable to come up with anything. Cotuit went down in order, a couple of strikeouts to end the game, and that's your final 4-2. Chatham wins it to improve to 7-4-1 on the season. The Kettleers dropped to 6-5-1 on the season, and now in a first-place deadlock with the Wareham Gatemen. That's tomorrow's opponent. Wareham won today 10-1 over Hyannis, so they get a game up in the standings to even things up with Cotuit. It's going to be a fun one tomorrow. Let's recap this one before we look ahead, Aram. Really good pitching tonight. One positive for the Kettleers was Jackson Wolf, who was superb over 5 2/3 innings.
Jackson Wolf is best outing of the 2 outings we've seen so far. Of course, he struck out 7 in 5 2/3, like you mentioned. Only gave up 3 hits. 2 of the runs that he gave up were both on solo shots, so it's really just 2 mistake pitches if you're Jackson Wolf, and that's what you got to work on. But he looked sharp, and he looked as good as he looked all year from what we saw in spring. I think that matched as good of any start he had at West Virginia. And that has to be something really nice for Cotuit to build upon. But, of course, then you go back to the offense. 11 strikeouts, kind of a relapse with that strikeout issue we thought we got away from on Sunday in the doubleheader. And I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me is you're chasing 2 runs in the 9th inning, and your last 2 batters strike out looking. I think that's something that cannot happen. Duke Ellis going down looking, or Rajanu going down looking to end the ball game. You can't have your bat sitting on your shoulder. It's hard to come back that way. And a tough loss for the Kettleers, but the silver lining was, like you mentioned, the pitching was good. I think even Brereton, in a day where he might not have had his best stuff, battled. And you're not always going to have your best stuff on the mound, and he made the best out of it and was able to just limit to 2 runs.
He battled indeed. The Kettleers started off well at the plate, weren't able to finish, as Aram alluded to, but it got going in the first inning of play. Christian Robinson with a leadoff single, and then he was brought home by a sac fly by Colton Kessler into right field. It was 1-0 Cotuit. And Chatham got a run back, bottom of the second. Caden Polkovich homered on the second pitch that he saw to lead off that inning. 1-1 ball game. Jackson Wolf almost was able to string together 6 innings. We thought he would go 4 today. That's how the Cotuit starters have been going all season long. Mike Roberts sent him out for the 5th. He worked a good 5th, striking out 2 more batters. Came out for the 6th, got the first 2 batters, including Spencer Torkelson on a pop out to short, with a 2-0 count, but then it was Jamal O'Gwyn II who came back up. 3-2 pitch, 2 outs. Where did he go wrong with that one? A solo home run to give Chatham a 2-1 lead.
I think the tough part there for Wolf is that's the third time around for Chatham seeing him. He was obviously had his off-speed working, but once you get 2 cracks at a guy, you feel like you're starting to see his off-speed, seeing the patterns in which he's throwing certain pitches. In that specific instance with O'Gwyn, he got him to 3-2. He knew he was probably going to see a fastball, and he was all over it. And that was just one of those instances where you probably want to get him before the count goes full because you know O'Gwyn's a guy that'll jump all over that fastball.
Chatham would extend their lead in the 7th inning of play. A leadoff single by Polkovich, his second hit of the night. And then he was brought in by a pinch hit RBI double by Alex Terrell off the bench. That made it 3-1. A 4th run came home to score on an error after Kate Cavendish grounded into a fielder's choice. 3-6-1. Cotuit tried to go for a double play on that play, but the relay to Richard Brereton, who came back to cover first, went behind him into the fence, making it a 4-1 ball game to Chatham. Kettleers got one back in the 8th inning of play. A 1-out double by Christian Robinson positioned Cotuit to have an opportunity. Nick Gonzalez was able to capitalize on it. He hit a single into left field to score the run. That made it 4-2, and Gonzalez extended his on-base streak to 12 games in the first 12 games of the season. Very impressive. Gonzalez goes 1 for 4 with an RBI on the day. Christian Robinson 2 for 4 with a single, a double, and 2 runs scored. Those were the only notable performers in the Cotuit lineup that struggled. The 11 strikeouts, like Aram told you, the crux of that one. Good pitching from both sides, but the Kettleers unable to get it done. Next up, Cotuit travels off the Cape. We went down Cape today. We're going across the bridge tomorrow to take on the Wareham Gatemen. First pitch at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Pre-game show starts at 6:35 p.m. We will let you know where we broadcast tomorrow's game. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and bearing with the new location tonight. Typically, all games are broadcast on Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting, home and road specifically for the radio broadcast. But Mixler has had their server down for the last week plus. The London-based HQ has been trying to figure out the technical issues now for nearly 7 days, and the update as of this morning was that it would be ready hopefully by later today, but it was not working when we got to the ballpark, so we opted for the YouTube audio stream. And we will do that tomorrow. If there are still problems with Mixler, we will keep you posted on where to find tomorrow's broadcast on the road at Wareham promptly on our social media platforms. Make sure you check out Twitter at Cotuit Kettleers or visit the Kettleers website at kettleers.org. We'll get you updated on all that. But now back to the X's and O's on the diamond, Aram. Wareham's a team that's now tied Cotuit in first place of the West. It's a big game in the standings, second of 6 meetings in total on the summer. Wareham blanked Cotuit at home 6-0 in the first time. What's got to change for this squad, not only from tonight's game, but from the first game against Jerry Weinstein's side if they want to get a better result?
Well, the funny thing about it is the type of baseball that Wareham plays is about the polar opposite of what the Kettleers do. And a lot of singles, a lot of scrappy base hits. We saw what they did against the Kettleers at Lowell Park, scrapping together a bunch of singles. The Kettleers kind of live and die by the home run, leading the league in home runs. I think what they have to do is kind of find a happy medium there and try and scrap together more hits. Even today, just 5 hits, the 2 runs coming on a double and a single. Typically, most of those runs are coming on a home run. I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel. We saw Wareham got shut out twice in the doubleheader on Sunday. Wareham was able to blank Cotuit, like you mentioned, and Cotuit pitching has looked strong in the last couple ball games. So I think small ball is going to be a big part of the game tomorrow in a battle between first-place teams. Every little thing matters. Those sacrifices, those advancing on stolen bases, pass balls, every little thing is going to be the difference, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring, tight game.
My friend, very fun tonight. Thank you for joining me as always. We'll be looking forward to talking to you again tomorrow at Wareham. We're playing at Spillane Field for the first time this summer. Baseball on the moon, on the Stone Dust infield. Going to be fun. 6:45 p.m. first pitch. Pre-game show starts at 6:35. Make sure you tune in early. Early bird gets the worm, and you get to hear from Coach Mike Roberts in our pre-game interview. Final in today's ball game, Chatham wins it 4-2 over Cotuit. Kettleers dropped to 6-5-1 on the season. Chatham improves to 7-4-1 on the season. 2 runs on 5 hits, 1 error for Cotuit, 4 runs on 7 hits, and no errors for Chatham. Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Winning pitcher, Parker Scott. A debut for the lefty out of Oklahoma State, a good one. He improves to 1-0 on the season. Jackson Wolf on the hook for the loss. He's now 0-1. Credit Daniel Fetterman with the save. We will talk to you tomorrow across the canal. Cotuit drops it 4-2. See you later. Thank you for joining us for Aram Leighton. I'm Sam Neidermann and the rest of our Cotuit Kettleers media team. We say good night from Chatham, Mass.